that should do it. Can you see or hear me right now? Let me know. Excellent, beautiful. Welcome everybody back to Paleontologizing. Welcome to Western Wyoming. Welcome to fieldwork in the late Cretaceous almond formation. We're digging up a brand new species of duckbill dinosaur. It's a windy day today, as you can probably see and hear. This is how it often goes in the field, especially in a place like Wyoming. But at least it's not super hot today. So we're pretty lucky on that front. Oh, if anybody's new, welcome. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. So normally, that means I'm back in my office talking about fossils, answering viewer questions, going over new scientific papers, and all that good stuff. But it's summertime, and during summertime, I'm out in the field, digging up fossils, collecting specimens, trying to advance our understanding of the history of life on Earth bit by little bit by, well, digging into the fossil record and seeing what we find. So I'm here with a crew. It's just 3 of us here today at this site, same crew as yesterday. We've got Nick and Eric from Pennsylvania. Yeah. And we're continuing to dig up this new species of duckbill dinosaur. We've got some new bones to show you, so pretty excited. Yeah. Alexander Morrison says, "Guy, you need a windsock bad." What? I mean, it's pretty obvious which direction the wind is blowing. We don't need a windsock. What do you mean? Yeah. And did you get rained on yesterday? We did get rained on, Starma, a little bit, yeah. And a couple people's tents in camp got destroyed, or at least damaged. Fisher's and Quinn's tents, which are both brand new, they didn't fare super well in that windstorm. But we've got the tents standing up again and all duct taped up, so it should be okay. Anywho, it's good to be here, and I'm glad you're here, everybody. And Moonwalker8 says, "I'm new and was guided here by a friend. This is my first time here. Have you here? Thanks for joining us." As you can tell, we're getting some pretty. It might be like this throughout the rest of the afternoon. We'll see. It might stop in the next 10 seconds. Who knows? It's Wyoming weather. It's unpredictable. But yeah, I'm doing my best to keep the wind out of the microphone. I've got a huge wind weasel on the microphone, so we're doing all that we can here. So if you can refrain from complaining about the wind, I would appreciate it, because again, this is all that I can do there. This is what fieldwork is like. You know, warts and all. It's not always pretty, it's not always glamorous. Sometimes it can be downright unpleasant. But I'm having a pleasant time so far, and I hope you do today, too, on stream. But yeah, and as long as your equipment doesn't blow over, yeah, Billy sign. I've got the dish on top of a little mount that I put together today. So we should get better signal. As long as the solar panel doesn't blow away, we should be okay. Oh yeah, yeah, I tried to come prepared. And there you go, Lordy, yeah. Control the weather, please. How you doing, Lordy? It's good to see you. I hope you're having a good day. Let's go down and see the quarry real quick. Like I said, again, we've got Nick and Eric here today. Both from Pennsylvania. Any other Pennsylvanians here in the chat so far? Make some noise, Pennsylvanians. But yeah, check this out. So these guys have been working on these bones all morning, and now it's early afternoon and it's starting to really look like a dinosaur quarry. This is awesome. So this to me looks like the humerus, the upper arm bone of a duckbill dinosaur. It does have that kind of, well, that would be, shoot, that would be the proximal end, right? By your elbow? Yeah, if it does turn out to be a humerus. And then we've got mystery bone over here. That to me almost looks like the end of a metatarsal or something like that.
Or a phalanx.
Or a huge phalanx, yeah. But if this is a humerus, it's kind of on the small side. So who knows? Maybe there's multiple individuals here. Maybe this is a bone bed. We're still figuring this out, obviously. This is only our second day digging here at this site. So, yeah, it's been a little bit slow going, but we've got bones. It's turning into something, so that's pretty exciting. For much of today, I've been working over here, trying to just remove a lot of this overburden so that we can get down to the bone layer, and we're hoping there's more bones under here. We shall see. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. And Golganak has already spotted, yes, our Flockman's mustard bottle right there. Yeah. Oh, you might want to close up the top on that neck so it doesn't evaporate.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
Who did that? I didn't do that.
Yeah. No worries. But yeah, glad we can finally show one of those off on stream. I brought those out here last summer, and now we're making use of them. So, again, this is not mustard. This is full of polyvinyl acetate glue, which is the kind of glue that we use on these fossils. And probably in just a little while, either Nick or Eric will be applying some more glue to the bone, and I can show you how that works. Yeah, let's do it now.
So
excellent.
Unscrew it. See, I get down on this side.
Yeah. So this is a kind of plastic glue that gets dissolved in acetone. We keep the solution in that mustard bottle there for easy application. Nice. Yeah, there we go. A big shout out to Flockman's Mustard, who still produces these, or still sells these mustard bottles like this. It's good stuff. Yeah.
My sandwich
and feel free to tighten that up a little bit if you want to. It doesn't have to be all the way open. That's the nice thing about that variable aperture. You can get it as loose or tight as you want.
My sandwich tastes like glue this afternoon, so...
Did you maybe have a little bit of a mix-up?
Yeah, I couldn't... It was stuck together, too. So.
Yeah. Claire asks, is this one of the ones we got you a few years back? I think it is, Claire. I think somebody actually bought that for us off the wish list. So,
Close.
Yeah. It's really nice to have. And then we've got another bottle of glue right there, but it's got a big wide cap on it. This is the kind that we want for actually applying the glue. But yeah, good stuff. Glad we could finally show that off on stream. I feel like it's been years I've been talking about Flockman's mustard glue bottles. And Football Coach wants to know why use glue there? Because these fossils, despite having been in the ground for about 73 million years, they're pretty delicate. You expose them to the air, you remove the rock around them, and they start to crumble. So we'll use this kind of glue in order to keep everything together, keep it from crumbling to dust. Yeah. And so this kind of glue too is really nice because it's reversible. So since it is plastic glue dissolved in acetone, if you want to undo any of the glue in the back in the laboratory, you just hit it with some acetone and it redissolves the compound. And then, yeah. So if you ever make a mistake with the glue, you know, it's not necessarily fatal. You can usually reverse it, which is important. Crimson Carnotaurus, you should wait till Ken is here. He might be in the chat right now, actually. Crimson Carnotaurus says, put some crayons and Tabasco sauce on that glue sandwich and you have a Paris Island special.
Yeah, I'll give that a try tomorrow.
Is that a joke at the expense of the U.S. Marines? Yeah. And Crimson Carnotaurus says, it doesn't mess with the fossil, the solvent? It can. If we're going to be doing stuff like isotopic analysis of these fossils, then we don't want to put glue on them. But if we're just digging them up, we're looking at the morphology of these fossils later, this sort of glue it's fine.
Let me interject. We have plant fossils that can be used for isotopic studies. You found one at the Ceratopsian site the other day. Yeah, log. It's Nick's log.
And we were talking about not putting any glue on it.
No glue, no gypsona.
Yeah.
So we just took it out very carefully, wrapped it in some TP, put it in a plastic bag, and it's ready to go.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. For something like this, it is kind of standard procedure to, just soak it with glue. Again, it keeps it from falling apart. But if you're doing some special analyses on a bone, you don't want to mess it up by putting glue on it. If you're doing isotopic work or something like that, looking for soft tissue, looking for proteins or something like that, then you want to avoid the glue. We're not doing that here. So yeah. Anywho, yeah. And hey, Dyson Dinosaur, Filippo says, hello there, and thanks for the amazing raid yesterday. You bet, Dyson Dinosaur, you bet. It is good to have you again, good to see you, and I hope you had an excellent stream. I hope it was fun. And again, if anybody's not yet following Dyson Dinosaur, what are you missing? What are you waiting for? Dinosaur paleontologist from Italy. He's currently working in other parts of Europe right now, and he streams here on Twitch. I am not the only dinosaur paleontologist on Twitch. Filippo's on here too, and his streams are a lot of fun, so check him out. Give him a follow. Anyway, I'm going to get back to digging in a little bit, but I want to ask if anybody's got any questions for the moment. Again, we are out here in western Wyoming, kind of near the town of Green River, although, as you can tell, this is sort of the middle of nowhere. Yeah. And it's beautiful out here. Holy cow. There's some extinct volcanoes over there. I think we can maybe even see, well, not today, but on a really clear day, we might be able to see the Teton Mountains. We could see them yesterday. This is a nice place to work. I've certainly been at worse field sites, I can tell you that. And Starman says, is the dust in the bin something you want to keep, or is it just so it doesn't blow into your dig site again? Great question, Starma. Yeah, excellent question. Thank you for asking. So, over here we've got a big gray tub, a plastic bin with a bunch of matrix in it, right behind Nick there. And so you see he's taking that feed scoop and putting some of the dirt into there. We're trying to get rid of that dirt. And rather than just throwing it down the hill, which could mess things up, instead we're putting it into this container. There's a few different reasons for that. One is that when you're working this close to bones in the bone layer, there's always a chance that you'll accidentally run into a bone without seeing it, and it could end up getting chucked down the hill. So a little bit of an insurance policy here is that we use these feed scoops like this for a while. That way it's just a little bit of a safety valve there. So just in case, say that there was accidentally a piece of bone that was in Nick's scoop and he put it into here, he could go, oh shoot, and then he checks this and he'd be able to find it before it gets tossed. So that's one of the reasons why we do this. Another reason is that this site is on a steep hill right here, and the reason it was originally found was there were a whole bunch of bone fragments that had spilled down the hill. This dinosaur is eroding out of the hillside, and there's pieces that were scattered all the way down there, way down to the bottom of that ravine. Oh. Anyway, we're gonna have to recheck that hill to make sure there's no more pieces. Let me answer this. This is Ethan calling. Hey, Ethan, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, it's windy here, and I'm on stream too. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well.
Nice. Would you mind taking me off speaker real quick?
Yeah, sure thing. Hang on a sec. Let me take this off my wrist. There we go. What's up? Oh, no worries. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. I'll pay you back. Yeah. It's not a huge deal. If it's no trouble, then swap them out, but if it'll take you more than 10 minutes, don't worry about it. Okay, no worries, yeah. Thanks for the call. Bye. All right, hang on a sec, chat. Let me put you down for a second while I get the phone back on my wrist. There we go. All right. Okay, nice. Thanks for your patience there, Chad. Yeah. Part of the wildlife down here says wombat hole. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. What's the temperature there? I don't know. Somebody can pull up the weather command and yeah, do ! weather, Green River, Wyoming. Yeah. And Starman says, do you go through the bin in the evening then? We don't, no. So Starman, it might just be every few minutes that we toss that out. But Oh, as I was saying, yeah. Yeah, so Nick just emptied it out right now. If we were at a different site, we might not really bother too much with this. We might just take the scoops and just toss everything down the hill. But there's probably still bone fragments hiding through here, and we don't want to bury them in debris. So instead, as we fill this up, when it gets full, we pick it up, and we carry it over here, off to the side, away from where the bones are, and we dump it over here. So that's these gray piles. Some of these that I was dumping earlier today. Immediately below the site, there are probably still bone fragments there that we need to collect. And especially if it turns out that there's something really important here, like a skull, we'll want to make sure that we get every single scrap of bone possible that's gone down the hill, that's been carried down by erosion over the past decades or centuries, or however long it's been since this dinosaur's been eroding out. So yeah, does that make sense? There's important stuff immediately below the site, and so we want to make sure that we don't obscure that by throwing debris on it. Anywho, good stuff. And Rachel Darling Endeavors, hey, welcome back. It's good to see you. Yeah. And Fuzzy Hamster says it's like a greener North Dakota, or northern Nevada desert, sorry, with less rock. It's kind of like that, Fuzzy Hamster, yeah. I drove through Nevada to get here from California. But yeah, it's actually really green right now. I'm kind of surprised. I think we've had another kind of wet winter, wet spring. Maybe not as much as last year, but yeah. So a lot of the vegetation around here is these very, very hardy plants. You gotta be tough to survive in an environment like this. So we get a lot of sagebrush, like that. Smell it. Sage. Sagebrush like this. This stuff is, oh man, it is very hardy. These like woody stems like extremely hot temperatures, extremely cold temperatures, snow, direct sunlight, wind, all that stuff. Kinds of conditions that would kill most plants. This can survive. And this is of course a very dry place too. You get these cool little mosses like this. I don't even know what this is, but we've been seeing a lot of these, and they almost form these little like brain coral mounds on the ground. They're pretty resistant to erosion, which is nice. And then there's some lovely flowers around here too. Let's see if I can find one of those. I think it might be like Indian paintbrush. Let's look for a shock of red somewhere. I think I saw one up here earlier. Let's see if we can take a look. Where are you, wildflower? I know there's one down below the quarry, but I'm not sure the Wi-Fi signal will hold. Let's give it a shot. There's my rucksack right there. Where is our wildflowers? There we go. There's a beautiful one. Yeah. And holy cow, we've got a raid going. Well, shoot, we were just looking for some wildflowers here. As one does. Happy Nightmares. Thank you for the raid. How are things? I hope you had a great stream. Welcome back, Happy Nightmares. So, cross your fingers, our signal holds here. But check this out. How beautiful is that? I'm told this is Indian paintbrush, but I'm not totally sure. Really? So even in a harsh environment like this, you can get really pretty flowers. Good stuff. There we go. And star pieces down the mountain. If you only have these people to look for them, that could take forever, no? Throughout the rest of the season. Yeah, and basically we'll just have people start at the bottom and walk their way up. For I'm just going to set this right here. Yeah, if it turns out that we do have a skull at this site, that'll make it even more important to be able to find every single little scrap that we possibly can. Yeah. And anywho, see, that's the thing. I don't think we have a direct line of sight to the Wi-Fi router anymore, so let's walk up a little bit. There we go. I can showcase some of the tools that we used here. Here's Eric's toolkit right there. Lots of little fiddly tools. Eric, how many years have you been acquiring these different tools? This assemblage right here.
Well, this is the 4th year.
4th year, nice. Yeah, so Eric has worked at a lot of microsites before. Would you like to explain to the audience what a microsite is?
It's a dense assemblage of small vertebrate fossils that are usually non-dinosaur.
Yeah.
They get trampled. So
yeah. So little bits of lizards, fishes, frogs, maybe crocodilians, things like that. Crocodiliforms, I should say. We don't have true crocodilians in the Jurassic, I guess. Yeah.
No, I don't.
But yeah. So.
I also worked on other dinosaur sites.
Yeah, you worked on a gigantic sauropod site in the Morrison too. So I'm telling this story like, oh yeah, he's got small tools because he's used to working on small fossils. But you've worked on an enormous dinosaur before.
Femur itself is 5'8".
That's nuts. That's like taller than me. That's crazy. Just a thigh bone, 5 feet long. I bet most of you in chat don't even have a thigh bone that's 5 feet 8 inches long.
Most of
whisk brooms, paintbrushes, oyster knives for digging. My big long, brand new oyster knife up there. At least it was brand new this morning. Doesn't look so new anymore. And yeah, there's my trusty shovel that Nick's got there. Should say Anduza on the handle, kind of near that part. It might be faint. Yeah, there it is. I need to re-sharpie that on there. But yeah, good stuff. Yeah, the wind is nuts right now. I hope it's not too distracting for everybody watching at home. But we're getting, I don't know, probably 20, 30 mile an hour gusts, maybe more. But at least it's not too hot out, you know? Yeah. Fuzzy Hamster says I was born in the 80s and spent my allowance money on plastic dinosaurs. I can relate to at least one part of that. Yeah. It's really not bad at all with the wind whistle? Good, Claire, I'm glad. Yeah. And Ash Odinson says wind is fine, just really glad to share another day of the dig. Thanks. Yeah. Wyoming can be a very windy state. There's not a whole lot to well, I was gonna say to stop the wind. If there were big trees everywhere, it would be less windy, I'm sure. But actually, I don't see a single tree anywhere. I guess there's some PJs up there. There's some like pinyon junipers, maybe. But I think it's kind of too windy for trees for the most part, and too dry. George from New York, thank you so much for the 29 months of support. I appreciate that. How you doing? It's about normal wind speed here. There you go, Sloppy Salamander, yeah. And hey, Casey Snowart, how are you doing, Casey? I hope you're having an excellent day. Welcome to Western Wyoming, where we're digging up some dinosaurs. If the wind dies down a little bit soon, I'm gonna set the camera down and I'll start digging, but I heard we've got some other people here in chat who might have some questions, so let me attend to that first. And I'm quite pleased that the satellite dish is working. I kind of jury-rigged a stand for it, so the signal will reach further. It's worked out pretty well so far. I've got one of those beachums that I've drilled into the ground there, and PVC pipe. It's a little too windy to have the other one on too. I'm afraid it would jump right out of there. But yeah. Good stuff. This is how I'm able to broadcast to you from the middle of nowhere. works via satellite internet, which is pretty cool. Looking forward to some Dinosaur Dig vibes today. Those you shall receive, Casey. It's good to have you. And Fuzzy Hamster says, I know it's a complicated answer, but how does one look for fossils? I live in Reno. Oh, very cool. I drove through Reno to get here. And I've been out to fossil sites, but I'm unsure what to look for. I know shale in areas like you were on, but I can't find anything. So I think maybe we were talking about this the other day. Outside of Reno is a town called Fernley, Nevada. And there's some really cool, I don't know if you call them shales or what. There's diatomaceous earth quarries out there. And there's all kinds of amazing fossils inside. And a place like that, you know, it's already a well-known fossil site, so you just go there and you start digging. You start splitting open the rocks and hopefully you find some fossil fishes. In a place like this, out here in western Wyoming, if you're looking for a certain kind of dinosaur, for instance, then there's like a lot of boxes you gotta check. So we're here in Wyoming digging in the late Cretaceous Almond Formation. Rock's about 73 million years old. And so in order to find fossils in the Almond Formation, first you gotta figure out where the Almond Formation is. So when you look at these ridges over here, you've got these rocks of different colors, like big bands like that going across. See how they're tilted up like this? You gotta know your geology. If you're trying to find dinosaurs, you shouldn't be looking in marine sediments. We've got some marine strata in here from like bottom of an ancient ocean. You're not really gonna find dinosaurs in there. If you want to find dinosaurs, you got to go to where the dinosaurs lived. You got to go to terrestrial environments, like the Almond Formation. So you've got to be able to trace that band of rock across different valleys and in different places to know you're looking in the right spots. So you look at your geological maps, and then you go out and you explore. And so essentially, when we're looking for dinosaurs, once you find the Almond Formation, and once you, once you get there and you're walking around, what you do is look at the ground like this, and you look for anything that might look like bone. For instance, this almost looks like bone. Pick it up, turn it over, and no, turns out it's not. There's just a bunch of lichen on the surface. Can fool ya. You do this until you find some chunks of bone, and then hopefully there's a bunch of chunks of bone, and then you follow that up. Since gravity pulls things down, once bones are eroding out on the surface, gravity's carrying them down the hill. Rain and wind and snow and stuff will carry them downward. So you try to follow that trail up to where it's actually coming out. That's exactly how this site was discovered last summer. It was like kind of at the end of the season last year. I think it was either Logan or Tren who found this. But yeah. Just walking along, found a bunch of bones spilling out of the hillside, followed it up, and was actually able to find out where the source is. And that's why we're here. Does that make sense? Yeah. Anywho, yeah. And Black Cat Lady wants to know, will I be digging in the Hell Creek Formation this year? No, not this year. No plans to do that. I'm going to be in the Almond Formation for the whole month of June. And from mid-July to mid-August, I'll be in the earliest Cretaceous Cedar Mountain Formation in Utah, kind of near the town of Moab. And yeah, then maybe in September I'll be back in the Cedar Mountain Formation again, near Moab, Utah, just like a mile or two away from that first site. So yeah. Yeah, nothing as recent as the Hell Creek this year. But who knows, maybe next year. Maybe I'll be working in the Triassic next year too, we'll see. But if we're going to be out here again in the Almond, if there's going to be a crew out here, I want to be with them. This has been such a cool project to be involved with. This is my third year out here. And one of the most exciting things is that as we're working, just about every dinosaur we find is almost guaranteed to be a new species. Because there's 0 dinosaurs currently named from the Almond Formation. There's a few publications on Almond Formation dinosaurs, but none of them have ever actually been named. So if we can find good material from a dinosaur, it's very, very likely we can publish it and actually name it as a new genus, new species. And Anywho. Ash Odinson says, joking aside, I'm actually curious why it's called the Almond Formation. Apparently there was a... Well, it's like a place name. It's a geographical name. Back in like the late 1800s, evidently, there was a stagecoach line that ran through this area. And one of the stations on the stagecoach line was called the Almond Station. And there may have been a small town there called Almond, Wyoming, too. I'm not totally sure. They might even be lost to history. But it's named after apparently a stagecoach station. Yeah. It's where they invented almonds. Very funny, Miss Blue Skies, yes. Yeah. And no relation to the Allman Brothers, George from New York. No, we're the yeah. Allman Brothers, we. In fact, last year, when Ethan's brother was out here, who's a tattoo artist, he actually brought some of his tattooing equipment out here into the field, and some of us got almond tattoos. It was kind of a surreal experience. It was my first tattoo. Getting a tattoo in the field, in a tent, in the middle of a thunderstorm. But yeah, I can show you if you want to see. All right, this is a special treat. So, and we'll say this is subscribers only here. So if you're not subscribed, close your eyes right now. But here we go. Here's my almond tattoo. So a bunch of us got those, like a dozen of us. So there's mine. Yeah. There you go, Lordy. Yeah. Can I open them now? Yes, Ms. Blue Skies. Thanks for asking. I appreciate you. So yeah. I don't know if Nick got one. Nick, did you get one?
No,
you did not? Oh, okay.
I have been issues.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
I wasn't sure of the seated areas.
Yeah, it can be a little sketch getting a tattoo in a tent in the middle of the desert, you know? So, fair enough, yeah. Yeah.
If he does commission, I might consider.
Yeah?
I might consider.
That'd be cool, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, remind me, chat, when we're working with other crews and we've got other people on stream, we'll ask them to show off their tattoos. I know Ethan's got one, Quinn's got one, Luke has one, Spencer and Fisher, and I think Colin has one. Yeah. There. The hazards of fieldwork. Ms. Blue Sky says, honestly, tattoo in a tent in the desert does not evoke on a scientific expedition. Well, you know, that's how it is in paleontology sometimes. You know, this is not a bunch of, you know, middle-aged white guys in white coats sitting in a laboratory stroking their beards. This is, you know, we're kind of a ragtag bunch out here. It's just how it goes. And the wind has died down. Oh, that's so nice. I don't have to shout. But yeah, and Ken got one too. Yes, absolutely, Lenina. Although I think Ken is already on the road now. Ken's got to go back to his day job for the week, but he'll be back out here next weekend. I was sad to see him go earlier today, but he'll be back. It's always good having Ken around. And in my master's thesis yesterday, very nice, Lodoc. Congratulations. That's awesome. Yeah. Semi14 says, did dinosaurs have tattoos? You know, there has been a good amount of dinosaur skin, fossil skin preserved, or at least skin impressions. I've never seen a tattoo on any of them, so I'm going to say probably not. No dinosaurs with tattoos. Yeah. Copy Paste Clown says, how does one even get the opportunity to go on a fun bone dig? Yeah. In this case, these two guys here from Pennsylvania, well, we'll ask them. How did they get involved with this? For me, it was, I was working in 2022 with the Utah Geological Survey out in Utah, because some of those paleontologists I'd met in years prior at conferences and stuff, and I just emailed them up. I emailed Don DeBlue and I said, hey, Don, Remember me? I'm Danny. Is there any field work going on this year that I could join you for and maybe do some live streaming? This was 2022, yeah. And he's like, yeah, sure. And on that crew, I met Ethan, who works for the Utah Geological Survey as well. And then Ethan told me about this field program that he started out here in the Almond Formation. He said, why don't you come out and join us? I said, that sounds great. And 2023, I started working out here. And then 2024 was last year, and now I'm back for my 3rd year in a row. So a lot of it is just kind of who you know. But yeah, with our Pennsylvanians here, with Eric and Nick, how did you guys get involved with the whole almond thing in the first place?
So I'm a volunteer preparator at the Carnegie Museum of Natural History in Pittsburgh, and good friends with Dr. Matthew Lamanna, the head curator there. I graduated with my bachelor's degree, and as I was talking with Matt, he said that'll be perfect for some sort of field work.
Nice.
And I talked to Ethan at SVP.
Oh, cool. You met him at SVP.
I met him at SVP in Cincinnati.
Nice.
2023.
Uh-huh.
And invited me out, and I got involved.
Cool.
Love this. This is my 2nd year here.
Nice. Welcome back. Yeah.
It's my 1st year here, and he's to blame. We go to school together, so he talked to Matt and got me out here.
Nice. Yeah.
Eric and I are colleagues at Indiana University of Pennsylvania, so we're master students under Dr. Eric Morsch.
Biology.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, so like I was saying, a lot of this is like who you know? It's not like there's some sort of, fees associated and stuff, and you don't have to grease anybody's palms or anything like that. It's just, somebody who knows somebody, and then you get asked to come out here, and yeah, if you're up to the task, then yeah. Does that make sense? I hope so. Yeah. Anyhow, let me go back up here and get back to digging in just a little bit, I think. Anywho, but yeah. There are lots and lots of opportunities to get involved with paleontology. If anybody is watching at home right now and you'd like to do this kind of thing yourself, you can do it. We've had members of the paleontologizing community, people from Chad who have gone out and done field work, people who are going out to do field work this summer for the first time, people who didn't realize that was possible. It is possible. Field crews almost always need volunteers. We usually don't have the kind of budget where we can pay a whole bunch of people to go out and dig up dinosaurs or collect other kinds of fossils either. So volunteer labor is the cornerstone of paleontological fieldwork. So if you have the wherewithal to get yourself out to a field site and to make it out there, field crew will usually provide you with your meals, and water and stuff like that, and some digging equipment. But normally you've got to pay for your own, flight out, or you drive out. A lot of the, your personal gear, your clothing, your boots, your tent, all that stuff you provide yourself. And I recognize not everybody has the wherewithal to be able to do that, but that's the thing, is there's a lot of different field crews across the United States and around the world who could really use your help. And so if you think you'd be good at field work, if you think you'd enjoy it, if you think it's something that would be worth your time, you should inquire about that. Go to your local museum, email some paleontologists there, try and make some contacts, make some connections. You never know what it'll turn into, and there's a number of different field programs where you can actually pay a weekend to figure out whether or not you like it before you want to join kind of a more hardcore crew like ours, in a lot of different programs, fieldwork can be pretty rough and tumble. You're sleeping in a tent every night out in the middle of the desert. You don't have running water. Sometimes you don't even have cell phone connectivity. It's not always the safest kind of environment. But if that sounds like an adventure to you, you really like that idea, you should look into it, So there's my little spiel. If you want to get involved with this kind of thing, it's very possible. You can make it happen. dinosaurs since 2011. So I counted, this is my 13th or 14th season in the field. I missed a couple. I think I missed 2020 and 2021. I didn't really do much field work. Actually, did I do field work in 2021? Not really. Kind of. We'll say this is year 14 for me out in the field. Yeah. Not 2021, says Claire. Yeah, that's when I had my big road trip. I didn't really do field work that summer, I guess. Come to think of it. It was the following year that I did my first... 2022 was my first year with the Utah Geological Survey. With Papa Jim and Uncle Don. Yeah. The road trip summer was fun. It was a lot of fun, Lenina. Yeah. Maybe one of these years we'll do a similar one, but yeah, I don't know. It's nice to be able to actually get out into the field again. In 2020 and 2021, because of COVID, there weren't that many crews actually out there doing field work. And actually in 2021, I think I was supposed to do some field work with LJ Krumenacker and JP Cavagelli from the museum in Casper, Wyoming. And then he got COVID, and so that had to get canceled. It happens, you know? So yeah, I didn't do any fieldwork 2021, I remember now. Supposed to, but COVID prevented that. Yeah. Starmer says, any news from the other dig sites? Did they stumble on something cool like you guys have? Yes, at the Ceratopsian site. Doug and Trinidad actually found another dinosaur right around the corner, which is really exciting. So they're going to be digging in there today. And I think it might even be close enough to that site, to the Ceratopsian site, that it's covered under that excavation permit, which is really cool. So yeah, hopefully they'll have good news when we get back to camp, but they were pretty excited yesterday. They're like, yeah, we found another dinosaur. So pretty neat. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. And do you ever compete between sites? Ms. Blue Skies, we're all on the same team here. We're all part of the same big crew. We're all one big happy family. But there can be a little bit of rivalry sometimes. Yeah, some friendly ribbing back and forth. Right now, I think we're probably running the smallest site. There's only 3 of us here. The site. Actually, no, I take that back. There was a site that Luke was running yesterday called Scattered Plains, where they found a bunch of surface material last year. They went back this year. They're digging in. They haven't found anything yet. All of the guys working at that site have been brought over to the Ceratopsian site for today to do overburden. They've got so much rock to move. We actually had a special meeting about that last night. All of us got together in the supply tent. We're figuring out, like, how do we get rid of all of that overburden? It's going to be quite the undertaking. Overburden, for those of you who are curious, is all of the material above the bone layer. So here at this site, we don't have too much overburden, which is really nice. We're kind of on a steepish hill right here. The bone layer is right there, because you can see the bones. So overburden is all of the sediment, all the matrix, all the crud on top of this that you have to remove so you can actually dig down and find the bones. So again, we're pretty lucky here. There's not too much overburden. But at other sites, like the Ceratopsian site, there's like a sheer, I don't know, maybe 8-foot wall. How tall would you say that is, Nick?
About like 9 to 10.
9 to 10 feet?
It's pretty big.
And it's like hard sandstone. So it's going to be, yeah, it's already quite the undertaking. This site, by contrast, is pretty easy. So far, at least. But who knows? If this bone bed continues further back, we might have a ton of overburden to do. But given that this rock is a lot softer, it should be easier.
Some new bone here.
Oh, yeah.
So, I wonder if this is meteorologically compressed, where if this is a limb, maybe the other side's broken. And
so this is bone right here, you think?
I'm thinking, because this is bone.
Nice.
Right
yeah.
there,
All right.
So it came from here.
This would be a decent jacket. If,
yeah, this would be.
We might do some jacketing.
It's gonna be terrible walking down.
Well, at least it's downhill.
Yeah. Well,
I've worked sites for vehicle from the site. Digging up like a whole triceratops. You've got like a 1,000-pound sacrum jacket. Trying to haul. We had to get a helicopter one year for that. Anywho, yeah, it's not gonna be too bad. We can take turns.
Yep. Oh yeah, I'm gonna glue this.
That's bone too?
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, don't be stingy with the glue. Just soak it up.
Will do.
Because again, we've got that whole container up there. Once the mustard bottle is depleted, you can refill the mustard bottle.
Yeah, I just kind of want to get as much loose sediment out because the glue won't settle.
Yeah.
Because the loose sediment will be in between the two pieces, so
Exactly,
they'll easily break apart.
And make sure you clean those surfaces and everything. Yeah. Nice. Nice work. How's it going over here, Eric?
Oh, it's going.
It's going, yeah.
No bone.
That's how it goes. I haven't found any bones yet either on both days. Partly because I'm streaming for several hours each day, but yeah. Yeah, awesome. Again, that really looks like a humerus to me. I'd be surprised if it's not, but we'll see. Yeah. Cool. Fuzzy Hamster wants to know, do you think we will find more mummified dinosaur fossils like that hadrosaur hoof Thescelosaurus leg now that technology is advanced? A little bit, yeah, actually. That's a good question. So it's not necessarily because of technological advances that we can find stuff like that. It's more luck, you know, being in the right place at the right time and finding an exquisitely well-preserved fossil. However, last October, I was in North Dakota talking with Clint Boyd and the other folks in Bismarck. And one of his specialties is mummified hadrosaur dinosaurs, like Dakota, the dinosaur mummy. And his team is developing methods to be able to actually identify skin in the field, because a lot of these duckbill dinosaurs have fossil skin on them. For whatever reason, either preserved skin or skin impressions. The preserved skin might have certain chemical signatures that you could pick up with an XRF. So like, it's like a mobile X-ray device, little handheld dealie. And that stuff can be really difficult to identify, especially when you're in the field. So sometimes things get brought to the laboratory. Holy cow, there's skin on here. They're trying to develop a method where you could actually better preserve things before you bring them back to the laboratory. So yeah, portable XRF scanners like that. That is a technological advance that could help us identify and collect more mummified dinosaurs in the field. It's pretty cool. And Bubba Gump says, what's the coolest thing you have found? The coolest thing I've ever found? I don't know, I found a lot of different dinosaurs in my day, but the coolest one might be one of the first ones I ever found. In 2012, I found a new species of horned dinosaur in the Judith River Formation. It's not published yet. Hopefully it will be in the next few years. We'll see. I'm not in charge of the project, but I did find it. The site name was called DINOSAUR. That's not what the new dinosaur will be called, but that's the name of the site. We give sites nicknames like that just for ease of communication. Each site also has a number, but nobody's going to remember a number that's like, you know, JRF 32973. Like, nobody's going to remember that. You give it a nickname. DINOSAUR is the nickname for that site. And a new species of horned dinosaur, kind of similar to like Chasmosaurus, but older, which is exciting. Yeah. Anywho, yeah. An OMG is so cool. Thank you, Space C. I appreciate that. Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Here, I should do a little station break for everybody just joining us. Welcome to Paleontologizing. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. And right now I'm out in the field. I will be out in the field for the whole rest of this month, for all of June. I'll be out here digging up dinosaurs and trying to live stream every single day to kind of give you updates on what we're doing, show you what it's like to actually collect fossils in the field. What is it that paleontologists get up to out in the desert? I want to show you that firsthand. So welcome, and let me know if you've got any questions. And Starmer says, I noticed there aren't many hammers or chisels. So right now we don't have to use those because the rock here is so soft. Part of that is that we're right on the surface here. So those of you who were here yesterday got a better view of this. But the surface of the ground is right there. And so at the surface, a lot of this rock gets turned to soil, especially when these plants get at it. They send their roots down and they kind of break apart that rock so they can get minerals out of it. And so it really softens things up. The further back we dig and the deeper we dig, the harder the rock should get. And in that case, we will need hammers and chisels. But right now, this is so soft. Like, let me show you what Eric's doing right now. This is practically soil right here. It's just so soft. I'm sorry, I kicked your knee.
Coming out with a screwdriver, basically.
Yeah. So super, super easy to work.
It's very wet too down here.
Yeah, I feel like the plants have collected a lot of water in there and just kind of holding it in their root systems.
Very thankful for the wind to keep the bugs low.
Yeah.
They'll be all over that.
Yeah, every time we like dig a hole and there's moisture coming out of the ground, the flies and the wasps and other winged insects, they come from all over the place and they just converge on the site. That happened last year at the Ceratopsian site. We had so many wasps, it was nuts.
There was at least 3 species of wasps.
Uh-huh.
3 of them. They started a war over this like chicken scoop that's
Yeah.
filled with water.
Uh-huh.
It was atrocious.
So many good wasps died that day. Yeah. So anywho, again, we're just kind of starting off at this site here. You'll see this develop over the course of this month. I'll be doing a lot of streams from here, I suspect. So you'll see this turn into, hopefully, a major site. Hopefully, bones like this and keep coming back day after day and collecting new things.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. If that. Oh.
Yikes! Get the glue.
Again, this is why we glue things in the field too, just to, harden everything up so the bone doesn't crumble. But yeah. So that could be that big brown or orange splodge there. Could be.
Maybe it's the other half.
All bone? Yeah, could be.
I'm pretty sure because this is all bone here.
Uh-huh.
And this looks very similar.
Exciting.
Super cool.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Anywho, I just joined, thought it was a rubber ducky. No, this is Nick right here. Yeah.
I squeak when you hug me.
No, maybe you thought the mustard bottle was a rubber ducky. No, that's a glue bottle. It used to have mustard in it. We ate the mustard, and now we use it for polyvinyl acetate glue, which is our glue that we put on the fossils here.
You better start scooping that in there.
Anyway, I'll start working in a minute. I've been streaming for like an hour now. Yeah. Oh boy, that wind. So I think one of the reasons why it's so windy today is we're getting a big temperature drop, which is nice. It was really hot over on Saturday. A little bit cooler yesterday, I think. Or maybe it was hot yesterday too. I don't know. We got lucky here. It was nice and cool. But throughout this whole region, it's going to get colder over the next couple days. And so those temperature differences are going to bring pressure changes, and that's going to bring wind. That's my understanding as a non-meteorologist. But oftentimes when you get swings in temperature, you get strong winds like that. Yeah, so we should be expecting a lot of wind over the next few days as it gets colder. Cliff41 says, Hi Danny, I live in Rochester, New York. Last night I read an article in the Rochester Academy of Science newsletter. Professor at the U of R mentioned his work at the site you worked recently, where the power station was to be built. Nice, in St. George, Utah? Apparently the dig site has been preserved for further digs? Yes, Cliff, absolutely. We in the paleontologizing community played a role in that, believe it or not. By helping to get the word out and get people excited, get more volunteers to show up, get financial support. The city of St. George decided, yeah, maybe we shouldn't build a power plant, a power substation on this world-class fossil site and destroy it. Maybe we should move it and build it in a spot that wouldn't be extremely detrimental to the study of fossils in that area. So, yeah, we're pretty proud of that. Pretty proud of that. And hey, Ken, how are you doing? Are you on the road already, Ken? I miss you already, bud. Shoot, I can't wait till next weekend when you're back. But safe travels, Ken. You drive safe. And Wolvulus says, will you be streaming while you dig? Yeah, in just a few minutes, I think. Yeah. Anyhow. And hey, raid, says Ken, did we get a raid? Did I miss that? Oh, and Claire, thank you for reposting that from Triceratops79. With climate change, is this part of the country better or worse or the same in terms of excavation of fossils? That's a good question. I don't really know too much about Wyoming's climate and how it's changing in particular. It could be that this whole region will dry out as the climate warms. Or maybe it will get wetter and greener. I'm not sure. Wetter and greener wouldn't be the best for finding fossils, but drier might not be either. I don't know. Climate change in general is not a good thing when it happens this rapidly. Oh, there we go. There's Eric dumping some of that debris there. Thank you, Eric. Nice. I don't know. I'm gonna say it's not a good thing to have climate change. But from from a selfish perspective as a paleontologist, maybe it'll be a little bit easier to do field work here if there's just fewer plants around or something. We might have more erosion, in which case it'll be easier to find fossils. I don't know. I'm not totally sure. Climate change is probably not a great thing. There you go, Miss Blue Skies. Yeah. And Cyan Streams, how are you doing, Belinda? I hope you're having a great day. It's good to see you. Welcome back to Western Wyoming here. Very windy, Western Wyoming. And what type of rock you're digging in? Is it sand or shale? It's kind of like a shaly mud, I would say. Let me show you. Yeah. Oh, and Ken says, I think Wyoming is supposed to be drier and hotter. Definitely more variable, which is a lot since you know how spastic the weather already is. Oh, yeah. So that does sound bad. Yeah. Ugh. Even less predictable? Not a good thing. Yeah. Not a good thing. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate your expertise. Ken, born and raised in Wyoming. Wyoming's native son. Ken. Yeah. And another round of almond tats. We'll see, Jody Fish. That depends whether or not Ethan's brother comes out and whether he brings his tattoo gear. That may have been a one-off. That may have been a one-season thing. We'll see. Yeah. Anyway, let me put the camera down. I'll try and place it in such a way that the wind doesn't blow it over. It's one of the reasons why I haven't set it down yet. So cross your fingers that you don't end up taking a header into the ground, chat. Here, how should I do this? We can use this big chunk of dinosaur bone maybe to weigh down the camera. Look at that trabecular texture there. It's interior bone texture. Alex trabecular texture. What is bone interior? All right. Put this here. Don't want to extend the tripod too much. I want to keep our center of gravity low if at all possible. There we go. Put this here. And then do like that. Okay. Think stable thoughts, chat. Try and keep you from falling over. All right. And I'm just going to be removing some of this overburden up here. Is it We got a spare scoop, perhaps? Thank you. Beautiful. Fill this up too. Let me get us some more glue.
Yeah. Places here.
Oh, thanks. The Air of Space wants to know, Danny, do you think the other sites will hear you if you yodel? I strongly doubt it. We're a number of miles away. I won't say exactly how far, partly because I don't know. But it was, you know, it was a drive to get here from the other sites. And we're like driving in opposite directions. So no, they wouldn't hear me yodeling. I'm also not very good at yodeling. But
Well, now I want to hear.
can't remember the last time I yodeled, but I think I was asked to not do it again.
Well, you have an opportunity tonight.
Yeah, we might do karaoke tonight. We'll see. Yeah. Starmer says, will we get to see the other sites this month? Yeah, we already got to see the Ceratopsian site on Saturday. And I'm sure I'll be there at some point. I'll probably be going to pretty much all the sites at some point. So that'll be cool. Right now we're just trying to open this one up so that when some more of the Pittsburgh folks show up, they'll have a nice comfy bench to sit on here, some nice dinosaur bones to excavate. And it'll be nice all the way around. Some contortion there.
Yeah. Just pour it all over my face.
Alright. B72 glue. Keep lid on tight. And look, there's a happy little guy there. Hey.
Yeah. Tells you, drink me.
I like that the skull and crossbones is melting on here. That's an indication you don't want to drink this stuff. Thank you. Oh boy, these containers are not good. That's why I love the mustard bottle. All right, excellent. Beautiful. The skull means there be pirates. Pirates? Yeah, I think this might be what pirates drink, actually, is polyvinyl acetate glue. When they've got acetone. If not, they'll just chew the little plastic beads. I kind of wonder if you could dissolve PVA glue in other solvents like rum. Speaking of pirates, we could try that in camp.
Yeah, we got some.
And Plockman's Mustard themselves says, thanks for bringing me out to the field, Danny. It's an honor to be helping out. It's an honor to have you out here, Plockman's Mustard. Thank you so much. We appreciate your service and your variable aperture lids. That's what makes the magic happen. Ooh. All right, now that the big bin is here, do you actually want the scoop back, Eric? Would you be able to use it or no?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I could just put things directly into here. There, is that easier if I move it like here?
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
This is the most comfortable spot I've been all day.
Don't fall asleep.
I feel like Jeff Goldblum, you know, when he's sitting there
Yeah,
on the
doing
table.
his pose.
But take my shirt off.
Have you seen that somebody did like an oil painting of that, where it's him in that pose with his shirt open, and he's almost doing the like what is it? what's that Da Vinci painting?
The
It's
Mona
like
Lisa? No.
trying to poke God in the eye or whatever.
Oh,
He's like doing that pose, and there's a butterfly on his finger, like the
Yeah.
butterfly effect. You've seen that, right?
is that
I like
Adam?
the one where it's like Jesus and he's holding a baby raptor.
I think I've seen that one too. Yeah. Yeah. The creation. Thank you. Yes, on the Sistine Chapel ceiling. Also called the creation of Adam. Nice. And it's not Da Vinci? Is that Michelangelo?
Might be.
I apologize to all of the classical art scholars in the chat.
This is why we dig in the dirt.
This is out here. We don't know our Renaissance painters.
I'm not too sure if this is bound, dude.
Anywho's raiding at Visceral Revolt. Thank you so much for the raid. You and your 8 raiders. How are things? We're doing well. Yeah, welcome to Western Wyoming. Welcome to a live dinosaur dig. We've got a duckbill dinosaur that we're excavating here.
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna interrupt.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you have your hand lens on you?
I do. Yeah.
I might actually need that.
Sure.
Sweet.
Yeah. I was using this like every 5 minutes in St. George. Things are a bit bigger here, so we don't necessarily.
This is a
need as much.
bit tricky sight to figure out what's rock and what's bone,
Yeah.
but I think I see bone texture.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anyway, Visceral Revolt, how are you doing? How was your stream? Welcome, welcome. It's good to have you here. Yeah. Doing well, but riddled with allergies. I'm sorry to hear that. Better than being riddled with other things like bullets, I guess, for counting our blessing. Duckbill Dino is very exciting, though. It is. Yeah, we're very excited. It's almost certainly a new species. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, what you think?
Jake's
Real
not
quick.
here.
What's that?
Jake's not here. Jake Stokes.
Stokesasaurus.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, just take a peek. Right here, there's like little indication that that might be bone.
Under the black part right there?
Right at the point.
Yeah. Ooh. Maybe. Doesn't look particularly bony,
Yeah.
but oh shoot! No, those do look like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was taking you too literally, looking exactly where you were pointing.
Oh yeah, no.
But just beyond that, those look like trabeculae. Yeah. Yeah. You might have more bone there. Shoot.
Cool.
Darn. There's bone everywhere.
This might be
Shoot.
big.
Yeah.
Big jacket.
Not a bad problem to have. Like, oh darn, we keep finding dinosaur bones.
That's a great problem to have.
Yeah. Better than the alternative, which might be dinosaurs finding you.
Honestly, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Oh, somebody's talking about Berlin Ichthyosaur State Park in the chat. I did a stream from there a couple years ago. That was, I think, 2023. If you look at the YouTube page, you should be able to find it. Just go to the Paleontologizing YouTube page, search Ichthyosaur, and should come right up. That was a ton of fun. My first time ever at that site. Been reading about it since I was a kid, and finally had a chance to visit. It was magical.
Oh yikes. Got some more bone trickling out right here.
Yeah? Oh, darn.
Oh man.
Yeah, this brush is pretty high quality if you want to.
Can you hand me the glue?
Yeah, you bet.
comes all the way down to here.
Oh boy, yeah.
Okay.
Oof. Yeah, look at that. Look at that, chat. So this like spongy texture right here, that's dinosaur bone.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a...
Oh boy.
Oh, dude. Yeah, this might be really big.
Oh man. That's nuts. It's finding more and more. It's weird to find it like, I don't know. So here at the surface, this has been like, there's plants putting their roots down. Freeze, thaw, wind, and rain, and everything else that's eroding. It's going to be super high quality, well preserved bone here at the surface, but we still need to be really careful because it could be. Hopefully, we'll be able to dig in over here. That's why I'm trying to remove some of this, and the stuff that's a little bit deeper should be in better shape. Yeah, good question. The burglar, you are correct. This is a jeweler's loop right here. Kind of a standard tool in the field for looking at things up. It's a lot more portable than a microscope. And Super Stoned says, should have double dipped and been looking for gold at the same time. Yeah, I don't think there's gold in them there hills. This is it's dinosaurs here. Gold, I think you've got to have like a lot of igneous and metamorphic rock. You've got to have like a lot of metamorphism going on in order to get gold. We don't have that here. This is all just nice, beautiful sedimentary rock. You got to go to like the Sierra Nevada or the Yukon if you want to find gold. Superstone says, just realized this isn't California. What gave it away? Was it the word Wyoming in the title or on the screen? No, I'm from California. It's a long drive to get here, but I'm happy to be here.
As long as my drive.
Nope. Iacane Powder says, gold. Step 1, supernova. I mean, yeah. You won't get heavy elements like gold unless you have stars exploding. So in the very early universe, there was no gold. It's just what, hydrogen and helium?
Yep.
Yeah. So, gold is one of those things you only get later. But speaking of elements and California, there are 3 different elements that I'm aware of that are named after California or places in. Can anybody in the chat tell me what they are? All 3 of them? Or even just one if you know one? What are they? Pandarius says Californium. True. Claireburr says Berkelium. Yes, named after Berkeley, where it was synthesized. What is the 3rd one? The 3rd one's the trickiest one. Racadactylus says West Coast Best Coastium. I don't think that one's been published yet. Oh, the 3rd one's tricky. Not Los Angelesium. Wave depletion, although you got the first letter correct. Andusium, no, Iacane Powder. Oakland Coliseum. No. Not quite, Kimplay. Sourdoughum? No. There you go, ding ding ding. Neverwinter Fool got it. Lawrencium, named after Lawrence Livermore Labs in the San Francisco Bay Area. Yeah, Lawrencium. There was a really cool t-shirt that they used to sell in Berkeley that had those 3 elements, the like chemical symbols for them on there. Californium, Berkelium, and Lawrencium. And I should have bought that when I had the chance. I don't know if they still sell it. But it's pretty cool. If you're the sort of person who appreciates different elements, or if you might even be made of elements. You guys made of any elements?
Uranium.
Toner Billion says, I think elements up to iron can form without supernovas, but nothing heavier than that. Really? Shoot. You might know better than I would, though. Yeah. Visceral Volt says, what happens when you find a new species? Do you get to name it? I won't personally get to name it, but our crew, the people who will be involved with writing the scientific paper on it, will get to name it, yes. And that's what we're hoping for here. This will be years in the future, though. These things take a long time. So this site was discovered late June 2024. This year we got an excavation permit to be able to dig a great big hole and get as many bones out as we can. And then those bones are going to go back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Nick is presumably going to work on some of them.
Yes.
And that's going to take years too, probably. And then after that, it's got to make its way into the museum collections. It's got to be accessioned there. It's got to be photographed and illustrated. You've got to get a team together to start writing the paper, and that whole process can take years as well. It could be a decade before this thing gets published, potentially. Or it could just take a couple years. Who knows? Time will tell. But just know it's not going to happen live on today's stream.
I think it's just wrong.
So the reason I'm working through this slowly by hand is, A, it's windy, and I don't want to be shoving a shovel into here and sandblasting the faces of these guys.
Yeah.
But also there's roots running through here too. And there's always a chance that there could be bone in here as well. And if I'm working too quickly with a shovel, I would miss it. So working through this by hand, I get to look at every handful and make sure that I'm not accidentally destroying any dinosaur bone. I don't suspect it would be up here in these kind of soily layers, but you never know, you know? Yeah. And we are back in the field, EB Knight. How are you doing? Debleg wants to know, how has COVID impacted paleo research, cataloging, etc.? Negatively, I would say. You guys had any snafus because of COVID? Like any times you couldn't work in the lab or anything like that?
I couldn't go to the museum.
Yeah.
At all for like 2 years. So I blew.
Definitely did provide some setbacks. I had to miss out on some field work because of COVID. Yeah. The only 2 summers since 2011 that I've missed doing field work, I've not been able to do field work, has been because of COVID, which has been really lousy. But this is actually one of my presentations at SVP last year. As I was looking at all the different dinosaurs that have been named, dinosaurs published since. I think that was since 2010. Was it? Yeah, and there is a spike in 2020. There were like 48 new genera of dinosaurs or new species published in 2020, and part of that might have been paleontologists were stuck inside, and so like not being able to do field work. A lot of them probably said, well, shoot, I might as well get this manuscript finished and get it submitted. Or it could be that was just a normal trend going up, and then after 2020 it drops. So I think the following year there's a steep drop off, and yeah, it started to creep back up last year, which was really nice. We had, I think, it was in the 40s 40-something new dinosaur species named in 2024. This year seems like not nearly as many. The year's only halfway over, but we're not on track to meet 2024. It looks like 2025 is going to be a low year for numbers of new dinosaurs named. And people have time to catch up? Maybe. Yeah. And this is how I got my start streaming on Twitch, Pandarius. Yeah, it was in 20 person in 2020, and then COVID hit. I had to switch to teaching online, and then got a webcam and a microphone and all that stuff. And that's when I learned about Twitch, actually. Yeah, that's when I met Ios as well, right when COVID started. And she worked at Twitch at the time. She introduced me to the platform. I asked her, is anybody doing science outreach on here? Is anybody doing paleontology? She goes, I don't think so. I said, I'm going to start. And she said, yeah. And then I did, and here we are. Anna Rodraco says, what did I miss? I'm a little late.
Shane.
Oh, is that?
That's my brother.
One of your people? Nice. All right. Yeah.
Well, Shane, we got more of this bone uncovered. Hopefully you guys can hear me all right. The wind's a little crazy.
Yeah, they should be able to.
And we exposed this, and then we got some more down here. And it looks like it goes all the way down here, but then I just recently found more bone down in here.
Oof,
so
it's all chunked up.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty gnarly. And then we're going to have to use our bobsleds to sled all the way down.
I mean, that's the nice thing, is we can let gravity help us when we actually bring the jacket down.
We just got to hold on to it.
You know, that's future Nick's problem, you know? Present Nick doesn't have to worry about that.
No. It is Nick tomorrow, Nick, probably. Or 4 days from now.
Four. Yeah, it might even be that soon, actually, yeah. Come to think of it.
I don't know, if he keeps coming out, that's going to be... We still got a trench pedestal.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to look at these rocks.
But yeah, I bet you we could get this out in the next few days if we really focused on that. Although we might wait for Matt, actually. Okay. And Ethan's going to want to see it too if he can.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. We can show him on stream if he tunes in, but that's not the same as seeing it in person. Being able to touch it, feel it, and lick it. You know how Ethan is. And let's see. Ken says that NSF level will be evident in a couple years. Yeah, that's definitely true, Ken. Shoot. The fact that science funding in the United States is currently being gutted by the presidential administration is, that's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. But, yeah, don't get me started on that. Said I'm going to drink some water. Let me empty this out, too.
Oh, my eyeball.
Untouch me.
I might get some water too. Oh. Whoa.
Yeah, we're all good. My traction control come on.
I'm gonna get water, but does chat have any questions regarding fossil prep or what happens to these after we dig them out of the ground?
Yeah, let us know, Chad. Nick, you're starting to sound like a live stream. And thank you, Erg67, for the 8 months of support. Petrodactylus, 33 months of support. Holy cow. Good to see you, Petrodactylus. Yeah. And Rampant Carnage, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate you. Beautiful. Heck yes. Nick stream soon?
Maybe I'll start.
It would be really cool if you did, like, prep lab streams. There's a few people who've started doing that in the last year, which has been really cool.
I might consider that. Maybe I have to get special permission from Ethan.
Yeah, and probably from the museum too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tone Rebellion says, do you kiss the fossils? Good luck after jacketing them? Yeah, we kiss them every night before we go to bed.
Tuck them in.
Yeah.
We do, actually, with a tarp.
It's honestly true, yeah. When we leave the site for the day, we'll put a tarp over it to keep rain off, that kind of thing.
So this guy was fun.
It is like tucking them in. This is so cool, says Jerk TV. I appreciate that, thank you. Yeah, welcome to Paleontologizing. What bedtime stories do we tell the fossils?
We read Jurassic Park.
And Sazazaf says, is there anything done to preserve the specimens after digging them out of the ground? Nah, we just kind of let them fall apart. No, there's a lot done. So, see that mustard bottle right there? That's full of glue. And so we're continually applying polyvinyl acetate glue to these to keep them from falling apart. And then you'll see over the next few days and over the next few weeks the whole field jacketing process. So we'll build basically like a plaster and burlap cocoon over these to keep them from crumbling as we pull them out of the ground. So that's standard procedure for vertebrate fossils that are big like this. You'll see how it works. It's yeah. It's a method that was first devised way back in the 1870s, out in the Wild West days. Othniel Charles Marsh's crews came up with that. It's kind of like building a cast around a broken arm. We do that around this in order to keep it all together, keep it from crumbling, as we get it out of the ground and then transport it back to the laboratory. Yeah, Cliff Alistair McLean, thank you for the 40 months of support. I appreciate that.
Guess no one got any questions about fossil prep. What's up with that?
I don't know.
They answer some stuff.
I think it's like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
If you were in the lab, they'd have lots of questions. But yeah.
Like, can you bring back the woolly mammoth? I got that one.
You get that one a lot?
Yeah.
I don't really feel like it.
I could.
Too preoccupied with whether you could about whether you should.
Yeah. And do we use particular brushes? We do, Iocane, yeah. We got these. Who's got the bolt through these? That's cool.
That's mine.
That's yours?
Yep.
Yeah. So,
I got these two.
yeah, Nick's got those. That one. We use whisk brooms like this for kind of coarser stuff, but when we're actually near the bone, we use soft brushes. So, where's my brush that Denver gave me? Here we go. This is a brush that I've had for probably a decade now. Denver Fowler, my old crew chief, who's now the curator of the Badlands Dinosaur Museum in Dickinson, North Dakota, he gave me this, I think like 2014. And he's like, protect this brush, keep it safe. He says, it's imported from England. He says, it's a hog's hair brush made from proper British hogs. So, there you go. It's a good brush. It's really good. So the soft brushes we use when we're really close to the fossils. If we're just clearing away dirt and stuff, we might use a whisk broom, something more coarse.
All right.
Also use like an oyster knife.
All right.
Yeah.
So all these are tiny little
Oh boy,
fossil chunks.
that's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, with all this. So I think I'm just gonna splash some glue on all of this.
That's not a bad idea.
And
If you can keep it as in situ as possible,
Yeah, like-
just drench it with glue. Yeah.
rock or bone, it don't matter. I'm just gonna drench all this in glue.
Yeah.
This guy, he was just kind of. Remember, I found this bone was kind of sitting up here.
Yeah.
So I think he definitely fits.
Right there. Yep.
But
Just stabilize it and
yeah.
let that poor schmuck in the lab figure it out later.
Yeah, I
Which
wonder,
might be future Nick.
Yeah, I wonder who that's going to be. It's a pretty neat process about what we do.
It's really cool that you get to be involved with like every step of it.
Because we open it upside down.
Oh, the jackets, yeah.
Jackets.
Yeah.
And so we don't see this at all. We actually see the underside first,
Mhm.
and then we take it out. Just kind of cool.
We'll be able to show that later in the summer when we're doing some jacketing.
I'm just gonna glue all of this on.
Take this brush. brush. It's dangerous out there. Exactly.
Like the iPad kid.
Take this soft brush.
Oh, yeah. Yuck. Uh-oh.
C64 television says more mustard stat. Yeah, that bottle's definitely full of mustard. It's definitely not full of glue. And Tasty JK, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate that. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Is that a first time sub? Yeah, awesome. Thank you, thank you. Continuing the gifts up they got from Gentle Freak 83. Great names here.
He's freaky and gentle.
It's a good combination.
Might be freaky, but at least he's gentle.
Yeah. Is it secret? Is it safe? There you go, Mayor's face, yeah. No, Denver probably forgot he even gave me that brush, but he'd be proud to know that I still have it after all these years. I try to take really good care of my personal tools in the field. It used to have my name on it, but I use it so much that it's worn away. There's just the faintest impression of an Anduza right there. When I've got some downtime, maybe I'll re-Sharpie all my stuff. Or engraved little metal tags with my last name on them, and then just put them on a keychain on all of my tools like that. Yeah, because Sharpie only lasts so long out here, like maybe a week max before it's like gone.
I did my signature orange duct tape.
There you go. That's smart. Yeah. But somebody might still think that's a communal tool. They go, oh, I want the orange one. Let me take that. I like orange.
In the lab at school, I use orange tape to mark what's mine.
Oh, yeah.
Just gotta, hey, you can make new dog tags, right?
Oh, yeah. Dog tags are a great idea,
Put
actually.
them.
Yeah.
I might do that.
Huh.
Start a new brand.
And it can even be
Paleo
like
tags.
like a literal dog tag, like from a pet store.
Yeah.
They have those kiosks that can make you the tags while you wait.
Called paleo tags.
Yeah.
Copyrighted right now.
Actually, a cat tag would probably be even better because it's smaller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I should do that at some point.
Live stream it. So, Chad, we're waiting in line.
We're at the pet store. We're not looking at the pets, sorry.
Oh, so what's the name of your pet? Oh, it's actually for me.
And I need 50 of them. I'm very forgetful.
I got my rabies shot too.
Can we get one of those pit tags in case I get lost? Stick it in my thigh.
Just chip my ear.
A mouse tag even says heels. Yeah, there you go. Flickster says, is it hard to tell the difference from dirty rock and actual bone? That's kind of a current challenge right now. Yeah, I would show you, but those are currently drying. Got glue on them. But yeah, some of this stuff, since it's so near the surface of the ground, like it's barely buried, it's pretty well eroded, and so and also there's like sandstone concreted onto some of these things.
Because you have this ironstone concretion, and then we got like this normal.
It's tricky. So yeah, at some sites it's like a really stark difference between the bone and the surrounding matrix, which is what we call the rock around it. Yep. In places like I don't know, famously like the Gobi Desert of Mongolia, the rock is often a nice kind of brown or orange or even reddish, and the bone is often just like a stark white. Just night and day difference in color. That's not the case here. Certainly not. That definitely makes prospecting easier out there too, when there's such a difference in the appearance. We're not so lucky out here. And Clockwork Ninja says, Danny, you got some dirt on you. Shoot, where? Clean dirt. I know that sounds like a joke, but like it's not. We spend all day in the dirt out here. The dirt gets in our eyes and our noses and in our food and sometimes into our electronics. It's just a fact of life out here, you know? You must embrace the dirt.
Goodness.
About that, like, you know, becoming one with the dirt. I think of that shot from Apocalypse Now. It's just like rising out of the water with his face all painted up.
Rising out of the dirt.
That's how we are out here, you know. Excavate with extreme prejudice. One of my moderators says, Eric, your red bandana is catching some wind. You might want to stash it before it blows away.
Thank you.
See how helpful my moderators are? This is nuts.
Great.
Thank you, Claire. Appreciate it.
I'm actually hoping this is just rock here.
Yeah, at this point.
It looks like it is.
And Murph says, is this site likely an old lake or pond? Most of the other sites seem to be. Yeah, this is probably like the bottom of an oxbow lake or something like that. It doesn't really look like a river. It's not sandy in the way that you would expect a river to be. So this is probably lacustrine, probably an oxbow lake or something like that near a river.
We have the loop. Eric. Thank
Sorry.
you. No, good.
How would you guys describe the sediment here? Just kind of like a shaly mud or
Yeah.
silty mud?
I think mudstone.
Yeah,
Mudstone.
mudstone.
Silty mudstone. Yeah,
Is
it's...
it a muddy siltstone?
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, mudstone is generally lacustrine in origin, so like bottom of a lake, standing water, kind of
Floodplain.
thing. What's that?
Floodplain.
Floodplain. Could be floodplain, yeah. Could be overbank deposit or something like that. Yeah. And what's the estimated age of the site? Asked Johnny Atanas. About 73 million years old. That's our kind of tentative number for this whole geological formation. We will, hopefully get some solid numbers on that at some point soon. If we could find like a bentonitic ash, so like a layer of rock with volcanic ash in it, that will have...
Not bentonite.
What's that?
Not bentonite.
Yeah. archons in it or something like that. Maybe some radioactive isotopes that could be dated. I don't have that yet, so we just have kind of a loosey-goosey number. About 73 million years old. But could be 5 younger than that. Could be 5 million years older than that. You know, we don't really know yet. So we're kind of working within those parameters.
Dude, oh my goodness.
Oh, and we do have a prep question for Nick.
Yeah?
From Starma006. I'm curious how the preparing of this fossil will go then. Must be quite the challenge if you can hardly see the difference between the rock and the fossil. Can we get that on stream sometime?
It sounds like a trip for Danny to come to Pittsburgh.
That would be really cool, actually, for me to be able to come to Pittsburgh.
Show you guys around. So
Yeah.
honestly, yeah, once we get it out of once we flip it over and start looking at the bone in the jacket after we cut it open, we start to very carefully pick apart what is rock and what is bone. We have more advanced tools in the lab, like a vacuum that we got from Dyson, and
Nice.
we just kind of at the very edge sweep up all the loose sediment that don't have any bone in it, and then we just keep going down until we find more bone. And it's pretty easy on the underside because it's less weathered and eroded, so it's more intact.
Yeah, the stuff on the surface might be difficult with all the
Yeah.
concretions. You think it'll be easier if
It's
working
yeah.
from the bottom up?
Which is exactly why we flip it over, because
Yeah.
it's going to be more, theoretically it's more intact because it's been in the ground the longest.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, and then we could use some scribes to take away and we see stuff more clearly.
An air scribe, some of you have seen this before on stream, but it's like a tiny pneumatic jackhammer. So picture like a jackhammer you can hold in your hand like a pen, and you just go zzz, chip away all the rock. Yeah, and actually, if you'd like to see this sort of thing streamed, there's 2 different channels that actually do this on Twitch right now. There's Fossil Preparator at the Badlands Dinosaur Museum in Dickinson, North Dakota. That's Steve Clausen. And then there's, I'm not sure about their name, but there's a preparator at the Prehistoric Museum in Price, Utah, and they occasionally also do some fossil prep live on stream, which is cool. So check them out. It'd be really cool if Nick could do that at some point too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll look into it.
And do we have any Lewis shale area? We do, Jody Fish. I think Lewis shale might underlie the. Yeah, I think we have Lewis shale around here. Slipping. I'm pretty sure we do. Pretty sure that's a lot of the marine stuff around here. Baker says in this general location, how many different sites are you guys working on? There's this one, which is called Purple Puzzle. That's one. We got the Ceratopsian site. We've got the Ankylosaur site. We've got what was it called? It's not Plains Drifter. What was the other site called that Luke was working?
It's
Scattered Plains.
yeah.
Scattered Plain, which is 4, and then I want to say there's a 5th site that's also being worked right now today, but I'm forgetting. There's also the new one that was just discovered yesterday that might be close enough to the Ceratopsian site that we could just roll it in under the same permit. So I'll say 5 sites are currently being worked today, or being worked this week. We're going to be opening some more up, I think, over the next few days. So we might have 6. Oh, there's also Turtle Hill. So yeah, we've got at least 5 being worked today. Yeah.
Don't be bone. Okay.
If Nick would like to stream his fossil prep work on Twitch, he has a follower right here already. I love having fun while I also do my work, and I would love to see more. Cool.
That's freaking cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. And they also say, oh, down in the valley? Shoot, how big are we talking? Let me go empty this out.
That was a bad joke.
It was a bad joke, wasn't it? I'm sorry. Thanks for keeping me honest there.
I tried playing it. This is nuts. It's just, I guess this is where it started to trickle out from, and it falls off because we got a nice.
Is there a loose piece I can look at?
Yeah, it's on grass too.
So the new site might be within yodel distance. Oh, the new site to the ceratopsian site? Absolutely. I think it's like 50 feet away or something. So that would definitely be within yodeling range. It's almost 4 o'clock already. Shoot. Time flies when you're digging dinosaurs.
Some good progress.
Yeah.
This is gonna be tricky down here, but I guess this is where it started to
Yeah.
road.
Mm-hmm.
So we see this little trail.
That's basically like where it was on the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is all soil.
Mm-hmm.
So there's even grass right here.
Mm-hmm. Shoot. I'm glad you spotted that though.
Yeah. Well, I was just
Would've
kind
been
of
easy to
following. I was
miss.
like, okay, there's right
Yeah.
there. Let's keep going. Oh, there's more. There's more. There's more. Luckily, I think it stops right here. What's your opinion on this? Do you say that this is a bone?
Doesn't look like it.
I see some.
Let's,
That's the hard part. 'Cause
Take a
now you
closer
have water erosion. It makes little dimples in there. It looks
Yeah.
like
looks like rock to me. There's a few little spots that could almost be trabeculae, but I'd say it's probably rock, yeah. Yeah.
And you're right.
And Burglar says, do you need deep knowledge in geology or just some basics that geologists on the dig prep the team about? I mean, we've all got to have some kind of, at least like, practical understanding of geology to be out here, sort of. It helps, certainly, but it's not like you have to have an advanced degree in geology to be able to do this kind of work. And then, let's see. Have you ever licked a rock to see if it's bone before?
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely have, especially early on. But after a while, you just learn to identify it by sight. You really kind of develop an eye for it.
Yeah, but how many people can dinosaur?
That's true, yeah. Jody Fish says, I licked a dinosaur and I liked it. Like the Katy Perry song. Katy Perry's been coming up a lot in conversation lately. And I hope that's not like an ominous sign. Like she's gonna come get us or she's gonna die or something. She's gonna show up at the dig site. Yeah, that'd be cool. I want to say I saw an interview with her and Neil deGrasse Tyson where they were just talking about science one time. Yeah, she seems like a cool person. I don't know, I've never met her personally, but yeah, wouldn't pass up that opportunity.
You're hogging the scoops, bro.
And 12 raiders from Vengeance God have joined. Welcome, welcome, raiders, and welcome, Vengeance God. Please spare us your wrath as we work on this duckbill dinosaur that we're excavating here. Welcome to Paleontologizing. And welcome to Western Wyoming. Yeah, let me know if you got any questions. I hope you had a really good stream. Thanks for raiding in. Keep flying away. You guys have got to get smaller hats or grow bigger heads.
I don't know. Hope Chad saw. That was like right on camera, right off my head.
And Starmer says, how does licking a fossil help identify it as such? If you've got like internal bone texture, if you stick it to your tongue, it's almost like a sponge where like it'll stick to your tongue. The moist tongue will kind of suck the like capillary structures in the bone right to it. Whereas with most rock, it's not porous like that, so it won't really do it. It'll fall right off. Here, permit me to demonstrate. Here's a piece of rock.
Well, that one stuck.
It did stick, so yeah. It doesn't work 100% of the time. They can fool you, you know? No. But, yeah. A particular porous kind of rock will definitely, it will definitely stick. Fossil detected. No, that was a rock. I promise. Yeah. And Murph says, is it assumed that this critter may be the same as those collected last year, the big jacket? It very well might be, yeah. Murph, I'm glad you remember that. At the Barnum Brown site from last year, we were, the one that had the bucket, the potential Barnum Brown bucket, that might be the same kind of dinosaur. That was a hadrosaur. This seems to be a hadrosaur. We could be looking at the same kind of dinosaur, which would be really cool, actually. If, when we get around to describing this thing, we've got 2 or 3 or 4 different specimens, all from the same animal, that could be really decent. Most dinosaurs that have been named are named based on just one solitary specimen. And usually it's a pretty lousy one, usually just a few bones, you know, here and there. If we had several associated skeletons of this dinosaur, that could be really, really good. Like that's kind of paleontological best practices there. So we'll see. Could turn out that we've got multiple species of duckbill dinosaur, though. Who knows? This one could turn out to be a Lambeosaurine, where the other one is a Saurolophane. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? We gotta dig it up first. No, it's not literally the same individual animal. It would be pretty big if some of the bones are here and the other ones are 10 miles away. I don't think there are any dinosaurs that were 10 miles long. That's what I was trying to avoid. Hopefully we didn't scratch the lens further. Sorry, chat. There, how's that? Got 490 people watching right now.
Wow.
And about half of them probably just got a concussion from when the camera fell over. Claire says, I swear I see a new scratch. Oh boy. Let me get my lens wipe and hopefully it's just dust on there. Alright, chat, you hold still. Hang on. There we go. There you go, Niffler. It's the same crack as before, just slightly wider. Oh, great. Well, that's what happens in the field sometimes, you know? This is not laboratory conditions. We're out here in the middle of nowhere. You know, it happens. Do we have any idea what area of the bone we're working on? This, to me, right here, looks like a humerus. Upper arm bone here. But it's hard to say. We might not remove too much more of the rock off the surface. We might just jacket it like this, trench around, and hopefully we'll get like a nice break here where it won't just be constant bone for 10 feet.
I know.
Because that would be really tricky for jacketing, but
like last year's 1,000-pound hydrosaur jacket.
yeah, oh boy.
Which I did not witness. It was at Ceratops. Hope people understood that reference.
I doubt anybody that we've been doing this all day where it's just like lines from different Jurassic Park films, but like not the catchphrase lines, just lines from just like every line from the movie.
Which, it was the 1,000-pound hydrosaur jacket, which I did not witness. It was Jurassic Park 3 when someone asked them about it was like, does anybody have any questions about dinosaurs that does not pertain to Jurassic Park? Or the incident at San Diego, which I did not witness. Probably butchered that, but it's around like
I'm a little embarrassed that I immediately knew Nick was making there.
If you're embarrassed, dude, I'm the one that knows it. Like I said, I destroyed that copy because I watched it so much as a kid.
Oh, me too. Is it a duckbill like the title says? Yes, Linear Rose, duckbill dinosaur. At least that's the fragments that were collected last year off of the surface were from a hadrosaur, a duckbill dinosaur. Presumably this is the same critter here.
Crittersaurus.
Critterodon.
Jurassic Park 3, when Grant drives up, I love that. They're digging in the Hell Creek, but it's an Allosaurus skull on the truck.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Museum of the Rockies logo, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's the, like, that was fun.
True.
It actually says Museum of the Rockies. I used to have those on my vehicle when we'd be out there. So we'd be out in the Hell Creek with, like, an Allosaurus. Yeah. And then I made my own. It was a Triceratops.
Which is on a pin, right? Or no, is that different?
No, I think it's the same one, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I still got it.
Nice.
I think I still have
Does it
it.
say Museum of the Rockies on it?
No, it's Paleontologizing.
Oh, that's a different one then, yeah. But I've made buttons with that same design, with the MOR Triceratops. I think it might have been Getaway Trike, I forget. Yeah. And Pramisha says, is that really a dinosaur? And Lunia Rose says, yes, a very dead one. Lol. Yeah, it's been dead for a while, about 73 million years. But yeah, this is indeed, dinosaur skeleton that we're excavating here. And we'll be doing lots and lots more dinosaurs throughout the rest of the summer. So stay tuned. Follow if you want to. Yeah. We got another prep question for you, Nick, when you got a second. Take your time with your water.
Coming down.
Yeah. So Starma006 wants to know, if you start a jacket like this one in the lab, do you have a particular area that you look for to start, or do you just start at random?
So we usually do it in the center, right? I think we start in the center.
Yeah.
And then we work our way outwards. And then we start with the edges, and we keep going around the edges until we start finding bones, pieces of bone in the jacket, and then we be very careful until we find more of that bone. We just work on getting the non-osseous material out of the jacket first, so that we can see what we're dealing with. Very similar to what we're doing here. We see bone, just the surface of it, and then we go down and around. Yeah, we have a little bit more advanced tools. And our goal is to get the bone out of the jacket, unless it's like really crumbled, and then we just get all the matrix out, which is the surrounding rock.
Yeah.
And then we take bits and pieces and clean it, because they're not put together properly because of all the matrix that's in between the cracks.
The matrix is just the surrounding dirt, surrounding sediment. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's basically, so we just kind of have this method where we just start looking for bone, but we don't touch the bone, and we just get rid of all of the matrix first.
Nice.
Which is very similar to what we're doing right now.
Except it's usually a bit slower when we're in the lab.
Yes.
Under more controlled conditions. In the air conditioning,
It gets a little hot in there.
Yeah. Don't have Wyoming winds just battering us constantly. Hopefully not, at least. That'd be a problem.
Yeah, I might have to grab some goggles. My eyes.
Yeah. Do you have goggles with you in camp?
I might have to steal some.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we've got plenty of pairs in the PPE box.
Nice.
Let's see. Oh. Chaotic Time Traveler says, I just got back from the Philip J. Curry Dinosaur Museum. Very cool. I've never been there. I hope you had a good time. That sounds really neat. You're going to be out doing some field work near there soon, right? Cool, cool, cool.
Put on chapstick, and now I just feel all the dirt on my lips.
Oh yeah, that's a reminder. I got to do the same thing.
Yeah, my lips get a little bit trapped.
It's really dry out here.
Ontogeny.
Somebody do the weather command again. We'll see what the current humidity is in the area. Oh boy, high today, 20% humidity. I think it was 18 yesterday. Yeah, somehow it feels drier. Downright humid, 20%.
What is it typically in the Bay Area for you?
I don't know, probably like 40,
Yeah.
50% humidity. I don't know. Somebody do the weather command for Berkeley, California. We'll see what it is there right now. %59% humidity in Berkeley right now. Nice. Yeah, much drier here. I want to say last summer in Doling's Bowl it got down to like 6% humidity or something like that, which is like incredibly
Just
dry.
walk outside and just shrink and shrivel up.
Your eyeballs just start turning into raisins.
What's up?
What do you recommend?
For you to start?
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, for the Ko-Fi donation, Ms. Art Rules. Really appreciate
I
that.
would like you.
That's fantastic.
Could
Yeah.
follow this down.
94% humidity in central Scotland. Holy cow, Pursue. Oh boy.
Okay, like.
To get a camera. Thank you, Ms. Art Rules. I really appreciate that.
When they're not here, 'cause we're.
I gotta look on eBay, see if I can get another one of these old Sony action cams
Oh shit.
with a
That's why I'm asking.
with a nice lens on it.
Yeah. Not balls. Okay.
What do we got going on?
Oh, we're trying to think what to tackle next. So.
Yeah. We will be
I
wrapping up before too long, like probably 20 minutes or so we'll start packing up.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just thinking. We're gonna just not want to bother with this part. Don't.
We'll leave that for tonight, yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I think.
If you want to start just clearing away from the top, like if you're just
Yeah.
looking for something to do, kind of like I'm doing. It feels like busy work, but it does need to get done.
Oh, your glue's bubbling.
We're at. Oh yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
It's actually 8 sacks.
That's often a sign that the glue's a little bit too thick.
Yeah.
Which the stuff in the big bottle in the mustard container earlier.
That's okay. With the air scribe,
Uh-huh.
using that to take off the glue,
Yeah.
it's pretty fun. It's like when people. I just do that on dinosaur bows. So. What?
What is this?
That's not. That's a
Rock.
rock.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it. Just all perfect.
We call them shoulder bones.
Shoulder bones.
Toss it over your shoulder.
Oh, Verity, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you here, Verity. We're out here in western Wyoming digging up a new species of duckbill dinosaur. Dig is going really well so far. Thanks for asking. Glad to see you here. Can we get a... Oh, we got a shout out for Verity. Excellent. Yeah. Good stuff.
Do you get any big time dinosaur content creators such as like, I don't know, like Gaming Beaver? You ever heard of that guy?
I want to say he
He
I recognize
he's,
the name.
Obsessed with like Jurassic games and stuff, YouTube stuff. I was like wondering if you get like.
I want to say he did a
those
video
types.
with Jim at one point.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did.
Utah Raptor? Yeah?
Yep.
I think I recognize the name, yeah. Yeah.
I was wondering if you got like any.
I don't know if he's on Twitch though. But yeah, are there many other like big time people who do YouTube videos or stuff like that who do paleo?
I know 3,
I don't know enough about this kind of thing yet.
but they usually just cover like Jurassic content.
Oh, okay.
So like, I'll just shout them out anyways. Like Evolution Square.
Hmm.
She mainly does like those Jurassic World evolution games. You know,
Hmm.
oh, here's tips how to make stuff
Mm-hmm.
look better. Anyways, there's a guy named Best in Slot.
Mm-hmm.
He's I think he's like looks ground sloths.
Oh,
So,
cool.
But he also covers
Ground
stuff
sloths are
like
cool.
that, and also other
Best-
paleo content.
Clayton Fiore.
Oh.
Best in sloth?
Best in Slot,
Slot.
like slot machines.
Best in? Best bin?
Best in.
Best in.
B-E-S-T-I-N.
In slot.
3 words. Okay,
I don't know if
gotcha.
everybody knows that guy, but
Huh.
I just like 3s that I like used to somewhat watch.
Nice. Yeah, I bet
Now-
you there's people in chat who are familiar.
Now I'm full-time paleontologizing. #1 fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious if you got like any interviews or something.
We've got people giving other suggestions in the chat too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would be best in a slot? Oh, that makes sense, Crimson Carnotaurus. Okay. Yeah. Anywho.
My goodness.
Yeah. Gamers know BIS. Well,
I'm a gamer.
I'm clearly not one, yeah. That comes as a surprise to nobody.
You know all those gamer terms.
Yeah. Like video games and controller, Game Boy,
Console.
and Twitch.
Sit down and play some of that Fortnite.
Yeah, that fork knife. called The Last of Among Us. I know those video games. Yeah, Zalat says you found something.
Oh.
I did? Where? Yeah, this site was actually discovered at the end of June 2024. And so this year we've got our excavation permits from the Bureau of Land Management. And so we're able to actually dig a great big hole and try and get as much of this dinosaur out of the ground as we can this summer. We've got it's almost certainly a new species of duckbill dinosaur they're excavating here. This is probably a humerus, I'm guessing. It looks limby right here. And then we've got a whole smattering of other bones. A lot of these are in kind of rough shape because they're so near to the surface. The plant roots and other erosional entities have really done a number on them. But the deeper we go, hopefully the better quality the bone will be. You know, it'll be in better shape than the stuff right under the surface. And Zero Kieran says, "Hey Danny and chat, good luck to you and the team with the dig. I appreciate it, Kieran." Thank you, thank you. Good to have you here. Ugh. Are there any paleontology museums in Europe that I would recommend? Certainly. I've never been to Europe, at least not yet. I'll be going for the first. Excited about that. Well, to England, at least. I don't know if that still counts as Europe. Please don't start a flame war in the chat about whether or not England is considered Europe. Yeah, shoot. There's a lovely museum in London, one of the original natural history museums in the world, the NHM as they call it. There's some museums in Lyme Regis and surrounding areas in southern England, along the Dorset coast. There's a beautiful natural history museum in Paris. There's a lovely one in Brussels, in Belgium, in Berlin, in Germany. They've got a phenomenal natural history museum there with the world's largest mounted dinosaur skeleton. That's Giraffatitan, formerly Brachiosaurus. And yeah, I don't know. There's other people in the chat who are surely listing off other European natural history museums. Yeah.
It'd be really nice to one of those little hand trowels.
Oh, like a trowel?
Trowel, that's it.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah, normally paleontologists don't use trowels, but...
I have one in the trunk, but
Oh, yeah.
I'll get it.
We're not normally digging in soil. It's really weird that this, this sediment is this unconsolidated. It's basically soil. We're not used to that here. Feeling like archaeologists, heaven forbid,
Like ground penetrating radar.
Yeah.
GPR is cool.
Yeah, archaeologists will use GPR, but not really a thing that's useful to us. Or affordable, for that matter. Even if it did work, we wouldn't have budget for it.
What's the quote that they said? A few more years, we won't even have to dig anymore.
Yeah, that was 1993. That was like 32 years ago. A few more years developing, we won't even have to dig anymore.
Well, what are we doing now?
Now, where's the fun in that? And is Giraffatitan bigger than Patagotitan? Depends what you mean by bigger. It's taller, probably, than the big South American Titanosaur, but probably not as heavy, and certainly not as long as Patagotitan. Yeah. And HD and HB, thank you for the 22 months of support. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
So is the genus Brachiosaurus considered invalid now, or is it
No.
just that species?
That species, Brachiosaurus bronchi, has been moved into the genus Giraffatitan Franca. So basically just given a new genus name.
What's
Yeah.
Brachiosaurus? Is it Brachiosaurus?
Brachiosaurus altithorax is the one we've got
That's it.
from here in North America, yeah. And what's weird is it's still really mysterious. Like, we don't have a whole lot of it. You could
Is
look
it
at a
still-
skeletal diagram and there's like 10 different specimens that are each just like a few bones.
And it's still missing the skull, right? They know the skull from Giraffe Titan.
I think so, yeah.
I think I read that somewhere.
There might be a Brachiosaurus skull from North America. And it looks different from Giraffe Titan, but I'm not sure how complete it is. Yeah. I think I'll get to see that. There's a Brachiosaurus skeleton mount at in the airport at O'Hare.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
at the
going.
United help desk. So I'm hoping I'll get to see that because I've got a layover in Chicago at the beginning of July.
Oh, same here.
Oh, nice.
So I might meet you. Well, I have a very late departure.
Gotcha. I'm leaving on the 2nd of July.
Okay, I'm leaving the 1st, but I don't get back until the 2nd. So
Gotcha.
at 11:58 p.m. I land in Pittsburgh. I'm like,
Yeah.
I have to have a word with Matt on that one.
Well, you got your ticket for free, right?
But yeah, so I guess I can't really
What can you
complain.
about it? How dare you get me a free plane ticket?
Generously funded through a donor from Carnegie.
Nice. Yeah.
She'll be coming out.
And Heel says, were there amphibious scavengers in the same environment? It's curious when so few bones are found. It's actually not curious. It's really common to only have a few bones here and there. It's not just amphibious scavengers, but terrestrial scavengers too. So things like tyrannosaurs, other theropods. Like if there's a big beautiful dead hadrosaur out on the floodplain, like everybody's going to come over and have a bite. And bones are going to get scattered around, chomped on, chewed on, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah. It's rare to find a complete dinosaur skeleton. It does happen.
Goodness.
More bone?
Bone.
Oh boy. Just right there in the soily stuff.
Yeah.
I guess it shouldn't be surprising given how much
Yeah.
material they collected down the hill, but
I'm
doesn't
just
make her
trying to
dumb
like
here.
connect this bottom half up there and keep running the bone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if these should be collected or if you want to keep this in situ.
Hit you for now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be wrapping up here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ken says Deinosuchus. Yeah, shoot. So Deinosuchus, this enormous kind of, if it's an alligatorid or just an alligator-like crocodiliform. But, picture an alligator as long as a school bus. You'd have a pretty good idea of what Deinosuchus was like. If you've ever seen the movie Lake Placid, that's kind of a decent approximation of what Deinosuchus was like. And that critter might have been in this environment too. This is the right age to have Deinosuchus. So, yeah. Yeah. And Vexy says if you find an incomplete dinosaur skeleton, what happens to the bones? What happens if I find an incomplete dinosaur skeleton? I dig it up and send it off to the museum. Yeah. Do you mean like how do we reconstruct the rest of it? If we have other members of the same species, we can kind of borrow bones from that. We can make copies of those bones to fill in the gaps. Otherwise, we'll look at whatever the closest relative is that we can figure out for that dinosaur, and we might borrow some of those bones by molding and casting, or we might even sculpt some of the missing bones if the sizing isn't correct. Or yeah, a big part of fossil science is and trying to fill in the gaps with whatever else we have. Does that make sense? Yeah. Let me go dump this out. Yeah.
Dude, this was great progress today. We got some.
Yeah.
I want. we got this. You just got to figure out where it ends.
Man, you guys over
What's that?
the trench.
Oh yeah, we're still gonna expand a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep working
Don't
this
forget
down.
That brush is gonna get
We could wrap up pretty soon if you guys want to. I don't think we've got any weather rolling in, unlike yesterday. So we could stay a little bit longer if you want.
Yeah, up to you. I would like to just try to get this as much as we can. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
bad out today. It is really nice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we'll work for a little longer.
You see if this is bone down here.
Yeah, shoot. Is that bone right there?
See, that's weird. It's only just this little piece,
Uh-huh.
but this is not.
That's frustrating, yeah.
You know, I don't know what to do with this part, but
Mm-hmm. You could truck that other part if you want.
yeah, but that's bone.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Just this little piece.
And it's like, it's all interior, right? There's no cortical bone there?
Nope.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If
You might not
that's-
be able to do anything with that in the lab.
No, that's the thing. Is that sometimes you get such small pieces that
Yeah.
there's no way to figure out where they go.
Mhm.
They just sit in a collection. Like they're associated with this, but I don't know. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
How many people are watching?
We've got 497 right now.
Nice.
Not too shabby. Especially for not even being on the front page.
It keeps trickling down. It's in the grass. We're in the long grass. Oh man. I have a funny feeling that we should just collect these pieces that are falling down this far. Maybe tomorrow or
Yeah.
later.
You bag them up.
Yeah.
We got plenty of bags.
So I'm gonna stop digging and figure out what that is. 'Cause
Yeah, go for it, yeah. And Jody Fish says, Danny, you are on the front page. Wait, really? Am I on the front page of Twitch right now? No. First one in live channels we think you'll like. Okay, fair. Not on the front page. Yeah. And Starma says, so what do you do with those separate pieces in the lab? Is it like the world's toughest puzzle?
yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
Essentially,
what it is. We still have stuff from the ceratopsid that we haven't nuclear fits.
Yeah.
Most of that surface collected. It's so heavily eroded.
Yeah.
We're not too sure what to do with it.
Any bits that might click together are just eroded. They're kind of almost worn smooth.
I did manage to find a couple fits,
Nice.
but some are so extreme.
Wonder what we're gonna have for dinner tonight.
I don't know.
I know Ethan went into town to get some supplies and stuff.
Oh, he should have got his buckets.
He might have actually.
Oh, really?
I'd like to get a chance to go to the hardware store and get some more feed scoops.
I'm planning to head to town later tonight.
Oh yeah. If the Ace Hardware is open, or whatever the hardware store is, they've got feed scoops there. We could certainly use some more if
Absolutely.
if you happen to be in that area. Is there a Home Depot nearby? I don't think so. But we've got other hardware stores around. me a little nervous using the shovel over there that close to the bones.
I was just getting the surface stuff right here because it's coming.
Yeah.
It's dipping down.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get that top part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been checking. There's no bone yet. And I'll take that one that's ready to go.
Since Barry says, you know what very dinosaur-like bird doesn't get much attention? The pelican. Those birds are dinosaurs. All birds are dinosaurs, literally. Like pigeons, chickens, hummingbirds, penguins. If it's a bird, it's a dinosaur. All birds evolved from a dinosaur ancestor, probably about 155, 160 million years ago, something like that. Maybe longer ago. I still don't really know whether Archaeopteryx is like on the direct line to modern birds, or if it's like a more distant outgroup or what, but yeah, we know originated sometime in the Jurassic period, and they evolved from small two-legged feathered meat-eating dinosaurs.
Confuciornis is a really cool.
Who is?
Confuciornis?
Confuciusornis?
Confuciornis. Yeah, that is a very cool
really neat bird.
Dinosaur.
Yeah.
Or bird dinosaur. Birdosaur. Ornithosaur. The bird stealer.
Black Cat Lady says, so I'm eating for lunch today? If you're eating a bird, yeah. Yeah.
I had city chicken.
City chicken is, as we've learned, not a dinosaur because it's actually from a pig. Yeah. Breaded pork. Does that imply that pork is urban and chicken is rural? If city chicken is pork?
Yeah.
Pennsylvania sounds like a really interesting place.
It's cool. Got big city.
States in one.
Got big city, Amish, big city.
Nice.
That's basically it. Oh, I forgot college in the center. State college. State college.
Here you have like trees and stuff there too.
Lots of mountains, hills.
Mountains, hills, trees.
Little sky.
State
Not big sky
Not
country.
big sky. We're little sky.
State trees, eastern hemlock.
Eastern hemlock. Huh. What's the state marine reptile?
I don't believe there is. We don't even have a state dinosaur.
No, that's right, huh?
No dinosaur. We've got footprints.
Yeah.
That's it.
From Gettysburg.
Gettysburg and somewhere else. I can't remember. Philly.
Have I learned the joy of yins yet? Asks Community Time. I have known the joy of yins for many years, despite never having been to Pittsburgh. But yeah, I haven't really heard anybody say it on the field crew so far. But maybe some of the people that Matt's bringing with him will, yeah.
I might slip up here and there, but I'm more of a y'all guy.
Yeah?
Ooh.
What do you mean?
Ooh.
You don't like that, Eric?
What?
You're partial to yins?
I don't say yins.
No?
What do you say?
No.
You all.
Yeah.
Greetings.
You guys.
all.
Greetings, humans. Greetings, fellow humans.
Greetings and salutations.
I am one of you. That's how people speak in Philadelphia, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Where it's always sunny. That's how the crab people speak. I think I've seen that episode. I know I've seen that clip. Anyhow, anyway, yeah. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
Heel says, what elevation is the site? We're at about 6,000 or 7,000 feet up here. I'm not sure exactly. Probably closer to 7. So, yeah. Much higher than sea level where I live. But it's good to be here. I'm gonna get home for about a week in between jaunts out into the field, and I'm gonna feel like Superman, just being able to run around. There's gonna be so much oxygen in the air. Oh, Moxie Drinker says, ask Nick where in Gettysburg you can find those dinosaur tracks. I get up there a few times a month.
Oh, okay. I have not seen them personally, but I do know a little round top on a bridge or by a bridge. I think it has a landmark like Dinosaur Bridge or something like that.
Cool.
I've yet to make it out there, but yeah, should be there.
Yeah, somebody look it up and put a link in the chat. That would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. And is this near Casper, Wyoming? No. Casper is much further east from here. We're in southwest Wyoming, kind of near the town of Green River. Yeah. Oh, GettysburgExperience.com, Gettysburg Dinosaur Bridge.
It is Dinosaur Bridge.
Thank you, Claire. Excellent. Yeah. Mooncloud5733 says, my kids, age 10 and 6 years, are watching with me. This is the longest I've seen them sit still, lol. Well, I'm really glad to hear that. Yeah. I'm glad you're enjoying. Let me know if the kiddos have got any questions. I'd be more than happy to answer for them. It's the whole point of doing these broadcasts, is to try and show people how we do paleontology in the field. It might not be as glamorous as it is in the movies. Is it glamorous in the movies? I don't know. But yeah, we certainly don't have like a...
It looks easier in the movie.
Yeah, except like in Jurassic Park, where there's just a complete Deinonychus skeleton just laid out like that. It's not as pretty in real life, but it's more real. And I'm happy to show you that. Some to paleontology. Yeah. Anywho. Captain Bugwatch says, we used to lock people up and make them break rocks. Danny does it for free. Kind of. At least you're paying me right now, chat. This is how I make my living, whether I'm in the field or at home. But, yeah. Yeah. And thank you, HD, for gifting Mooncloud. I really appreciate that. That's excellent. Yeah. And Vexy and Darius Majusi, I can answer both your questions at the same time. We're digging up a duckbill dinosaur. This one was discovered at the end of last June 2024. There were a bunch of bone fragments that were spilling down the hill, down into that ravine. And yeah, I think it was like, maybe it was Logan who found it. Maybe it was Trin, I forget. But yeah, they followed the bone fragments up to the source right here, and this is where the dinosaur is. So we got our excavation permits to be able to dig a big hole this year, and we just started that yesterday. So this is 2 days in. We've already got this hole going here. We're making pretty decent progress. And we know it's a duckbill dinosaur because all the fragments seem to be from a duckbill dinosaur, including fragments of the jawbone with those alveoli, those tooth sockets. Very distinctly hadrosaurian duckbill dinosaur. So yeah. And given that there are no duckbill dinosaurs that are named from the Almond Formation, from about 73 million years old, very, very, very high likelihood that this is a new species. In fact, I'd be surprised if it were not. So, yeah, hope that makes sense. And many of the small fragments down the hill did get collected, but not all of them yet, which is why we're taking care not to send our rubble directly down the hill, because because we don't want to cover up any fragments that might remain on the surface. So we're making sure to take all of our matrix that we're digging up here, all of the talus pile, so to speak, we're gonna dump that out to the side so we don't cover up those fragments and obscure them. Yeah. Zealot says, where are the bones? They're right here. So we've got what looks to me like a humerus right here. There's the end of it right there that my shadow's pointing to. So this would be the proximal end, so where it attaches to the shoulder, if it is indeed a humerus. So it extends out through here, and then we've got a bunch of other bone all through here. Doesn't look really pretty right now. This stuff is right near the surface, so it's not in the best shape. But later on this week, we'll have more bones exposed, I hope, and the bones that are deeper down should be a little bit prettier. Stay tuned throughout the summer and you'll see a lot of different dinosaur bones that are much more easy to spot than these. These are not the prettiest right now. But again, we're just starting off here, and yeah, we're just 2 days in, and this is stuff right on the surface where it's been partially eroded. So it's not particularly photogenic. Zealot says the ground is full of bones if you can find bones from 200 million years ago. Do I detect some snark there? Are you... Huh. Might have like a creationist in the chat. But yeah, if you look in the right places with rocks of the right age and the right type, you will find fossil bones. That's what we do all summer. So yeah, these particular bones are from the Almond Formation here in Wyoming, about 73 million years old. You can trace these same rock layers for dozens of miles across this part of Wyoming and consistently find dinosaur fossils there. Whereas you look in rock layers that represent the bottom of an ancient ocean, and you're not going to find dinosaurs in there, but you will find fossil clams and fossil fishes and, you know, marine organisms, ocean organisms like that. You know, the whole point of science is that we're trying to figure out how the world works. We're trying to, you know, unlock these mysteries of the universe, and we do it by testing ideas, looking for evidence. So, as we're doing field work like this, we're kind of testing hypotheses each and every minute. Like, I could go march across there to those rocks on the other side of the valley. Hypothesis might be, well, if I look in the Almond Formation rocks from this terrestrial ecosystem, this terrestrial depositional environment, we'll find that's a hypothesis. And you know, in science, you got to put your money where your mouth is and test those ideas. So you go out and test it by looking, and if you don't find terrestrial animals in those rocks, well, shoot, maybe you were wrong. You know, got to reassess. If I look in the marine rocks over there, I should find marine animals, ocean animals. You know, it's kind of basic science. That's how these things work, you know? Does that make sense? I hope it does. Yeah. Oh, this asking if you suggest a good book of prehistoric life to get started with. Oh, shoot. That's a great question. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of a decent, like, introduction to the history of life in book form for somebody who's a beginner. I know Dorling Kindersley made a pretty decent Encyclopedia of Dinosaurs and Ancient Life, but that was from like when I was a kid, so it's kind of on the older side of things now. It's funny, for like an introductory level book for the history of life on Earth. It's more up to date. This is a tricky one. It's not something I think about a whole lot. You got one?
Smithsonian has an encyclopedia.
Nice, yeah.
It's not perfect, but
yeah. So just, should they search for like Smithsonian Encyclopedia of Prehistoric Life or something like that?
yeah, Smithsonian dinosaurs.
Nice, okay, yeah.
Should be able to
Yeah.
find it.
I don't know, it's tricky because when I've had conversations with people like this in person, like if it's somebody who's like, oh, I don't really think that there's bones in the ground, you mention the word Smithsonian and they completely shut down. They're like, oh, well, that's where they're hiding all the giant bones or something like, I don't know. If it's somebody who's like steeped in conspiracy theories, you say the word Smithsonian and like they immediately say, I'm not going to listen to anything you say. So yeah, it's frustrating sometimes. There's so much misinformation on the internet. There's so many like dumb conspiracy theories and stuff like that. It's part of the reason why I'm out here in the first place streaming. Is I show people how we do field work. Here's a group of paleontologists. We're digging here in the ground. This is real. It's not some. I hope it. It shows you that this is real, you know? Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Starma says, will these fossils be displayed at a museum? If not, why not? So these ones will be going to a museum. These are going to be going to the museum in Pittsburgh, the Carnegie Museum, in the eastern United States. I don't know if these particular ones will go on display because they might not be pretty enough, honestly. But they will be in the museum. We've got other specimens that we're digging up this summer that probably will go on display at some point.
Space is also...
Yeah, space is definitely a constraint. That's an old museum, the Carnegie, and I don't know if they have room to be able to like build an expansion or anything.
No, and we have probably to tear down the Cenozoic area, which we're probably already going to do that to revamp it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So, yeah, these ones might not be on display permanently. It would be really cool if they were on temporary public display.
Which,
Like-
that's a possibility.
Yeah. And is there a viewing lab there for the prep lab? Like,
Yes,
people looking?
there is a paleo. It's the Paleo Lab, and right
Nice.
before you go to the Dinosaur Hall,
Uh-huh.
it's a big glass exhibit essentially, and
Nice.
it's the Paleo Lab.
So you can, like, stick your face right up against the glass and,
Yep.
and
There's a little
look at the preparators actually cleaning the fossils.
Yep, and
Yeah.
you could wave.
Nice.
And try to ask questions.
But you shouldn't really knock on the glass, and you probably
scares
shouldn't
us.
try and feed them. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not.
But yeah, there's a big
they are
information.
It's not. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, there's a big info kiosk or
Nice, yeah.
stand that stretches the entire way.
Uh huh.
And there's stuff inside of what we're doing. There's a picture of us at the ceratopsid site that I put up.
Oh, very cool.
With the ceratopsid material. So,
Uh-huh. That's awesome. So if you do want to see these fossils, they will be on display in the sense that you can see them being worked on in the laboratory. You can look through the glass, but they might not be like in the display hall of the museum, you know. But who knows? We'll see. If we get a complete skeleton here or anything close to that,
There's a good chance, maybe.
yeah, who knows? Yeah. And these, absolutely, Attila the Mom, yes, these bones will be used for research and sciencey things, certainly. That's why we're digging this up in the first place. We wouldn't be out here, you know, spending our summer doing this if this were not helping to advance paleontological science. Yeah. Yeah. And any clue what the dinosaurs at the other dig sites might be? Yeah, we know we've got a new species of horned dinosaur at the ceratopsian site. It's called a ceratopsian, that's why it's called the ceratopsian site. We've got several other sites with other duckbill dinosaurs, and when we we get back to camp, I really want to hear from the Ankylosaur site crew. I hope they've got some good stuff today.
Really, really crossing fingers for a skull, a cranium.
That would be really awesome to have decent material from an armored dinosaur, an Ankylosaur. Yeah. I said this yesterday, but it's true every day. It's always cool to go back to camp and be able to talk to the people working at other sites on the crew and be like, hey, what'd you do today? What'd you got? What'd you got?
You find anything? No, not yet.
Yeah. So not Danny Ceratops, maybe Ethan Ceratops? Actually, the guy who found the Ceratopsian 2 years ago, his name is Nick as well. So...
Not me.
Yeah, different Nick. We've had 3 or 4 different Nicks on our cruise the past few years. Yeah.
I'm the best one, obviously.
Of course.
To each his own, I guess.
Yeah.
I might have to fight Nick Oliver, though. We'll see how
I don't think that would go well for you. He's like, yeah, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, well, I'm black belt in beer drinking.
You're just like wearing a belt that's black, drinking a beer.
No, we're good friends, so.
Yeah. And how do new species of dinosaurs get named? I could try. So what we do is, when we're publishing on this, say that we're trying to publish, let's assume for a second that this is the same species as the other duckbill dinosaurs that we found in this same formation, in the Almond Formation. We got all the bones cleaned and prepped and safely ensconced in the museum. Then we take measurements. We might do 3D scans of all the bones if we want to make those data publicly available. We'll work on describing them. So you're describing the details of each of these bones. You compare them to the bones of a close relative. Here's how they're the same. Here's how they're different. Take lots of pictures. You have those in the publication. And then you name it. So it's usually toward the beginning of a paper describing a new kind of dinosaur or any kind of organism. You've got the new name for it. And so the team decides on a name. And there's rules about that. So a scientific name is in 2 parts. You've got the genus and the species name. It has to be unique. The genus name has to be, it can't be the same as any other animal's name. So like Tyrannosaurus, you can't name another animal Tyrannosaurus because that name is already taken. So we'd have to come up with an original name for this critter, different from all other animals.
Scoops?
And then,
I'm gonna dump it.
Yeah.
I need.
Oh, yeah, go take it.
Yeah, so I hope that makes sense. That's how we name these things.
You want to talk about how you can tell if it's something new?
Sure. Yeah. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Just correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm still kind of learning the ropes.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But you do a lot of comparative anatomy, and if you see traits in the morphology in the bone that are new or not seen before, you can call that as a character.
Mm-hmm. Like an autapomorphy?
Like you could say, well, an autapomorphy might be a little bit different than a unique character.
Sure,
They are
yeah.
unique characters. But autapomorphies are unique characters for a specific taxon. There's, it's a very strange way of putting it, but like a good example is Ouranosaurus. An autapomorphic character of Ouranosaurus is its sailed back. No other iguanodontian has a sailed back.
There are some that they haven't been published yet, but yeah, we've got
okay.
one from the Cedar Mountain.
No way.
It's really exciting, yeah. We'll talk about that later, yeah.
Okay, well,
yeah.
I might have to put that in my thesis research. No, seriously, because Ouranosaurus is almost the outgroup. It's iguanodon.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, yeah. So you look for things that are new and never seen. So you look for
unique characteristics.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you also could look for synapomorphies, which are shared derived characteristics. Something that all hadrosaurs, say hadrosaurs for example, share. One of them could be, ossified tendons. That's usually a big one for ornithopods.
Mm-hmm.
But
so it's like, here's a characteristic for this whole group. That's how we can tell it's part of this group. It's got this special trait. Yeah.
But then you look further and you can say, hey, this humerus here has
It's called a bump.
Yeah, kind of bump. Yeah, it has a lower deltoid crest or tuberosity.
Yeah.
So it's a smaller, like 1/3 of the typical deltoid crest height. So that could be an autapomorphy. And that's like, oh, this one's new. It has its different trait. It's evolving something different.
This is something we've never seen before in a dinosaur. This one makes this thing new. That's how we know it's a new species. Yeah.
So hopefully I explain that at least people understand.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, look at the chat. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. That's the next part of my project that I need to get on.
Nice.
Is describing the species.
And Mooncloud says, can you say for sure it's a new species from one find, or do you need multiple skeletons to verify? Ideally, you have multiple skeletons, but most of the time we only have one skeleton of a new kind of dinosaur. We're really lucky here in that we've got multiple duckbill dinosaur skeletons from the almond that we're digging up right now. So we might have multiple skeletons, which would be really, really helpful. Yeah. And again, like most things in nature, like there's a spectrum, there's gray areas. So in paleontology, it's a spectrum. Sometimes you know that something is for sure a new species, and sometimes it's more doubtful. Super, super unique. And there's arguments about this kind of thing all the time in paleontology. That's kind of our perennial pastime. It's just arguing about whether or not two different dinosaurs are the same thing or are they different. Think Nanotyrannus and Tyrannosaurus. It's been a debate for 30 years at this point at least.
And here's the difficult part is that we don't have genetics to help us.
Exactly. You can't look at the DNA. Yeah.
Nope. So we're a little bit short on that end. So that's why we resort to morphology, morphological characteristics.
Look at the shapes of the bones, because we don't have DNA from any of these animals. DNA is far too fragile. It doesn't last nearly long enough. So, yeah. Speaking about lasting long enough, we should probably wrap things up. It's 5 o'clock now. Yeah.
We're gonna get
Are we at a pretty good stopping point, Eric?
I said so.
Yeah? Awesome. Cool. All right, I'm cool with that. Let me go ahead and wrap up the stream. We'll pack up for the day, and we'll probably be back at the same site tomorrow, but we'll see. There. Just march up here by our satellite dish. Let me adjust this real quick. We're no longer. Put this on. Yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5 o'clock here in Mountain Time. Everybody, thank you so much for being here today. Don't go away just yet. We're gonna see if we can raid into somebody else doing some science right now. Let's see who we've got. Go back to Twitch. Go to watch. Following. Let's see. Oh, Casey Snowart is on right now. Well. Let's go right into Casey. She is officially doing her partner push. Holy cow. So Casey Snowart is not only one of our moderators on this channel, but she is an awesome streamer in her own right. She does art, as her name would imply. And she is a brilliant artist, and she can make you a good artist too. If you follow along with her tutorials and hang out, she does a thing called Art Gym, where it's like going to the gym. You're trying to build those art muscles by doing exercises, and it's really cool. For those of you who are not familiar with her, you're really gonna like Casey Snowart. She's an awesome person, and she does cool streams. So let's raid into her. Raid Casey Snow Art. Beautiful. Looks like it worked. Excellent. Thank you everybody for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed today's stream as much as I did. It's such a pleasure to be able to bring you out to the field and show you what it's like to dig dinosaurs, IRL. We'll be doing this again tomorrow with any luck. I'm gonna try and stream every day this month. So yeah, we're gonna go back to camp after we pack up here and have some dinner and catch up with the rest of the crew. But yeah, we'll be back out here bright and early tomorrow. and I'll try and stream same exact time tomorrow. Be 2 p.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time, whatever time that is in your time zone, it'll be your time. Thank you, everybody. Lurkers, viewers, raiders, cheerers, gifters, subscribers, and moderators. Thank you all very, very much for everything. I appreciate you. Without further ado, we're going to go right into Casey Snow Art. And I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.